everybody, and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. I hope everybody is having a great Monday. It is awesome to see you all here, and we have quite a show for y'all tonight because it's been quite a week. I feel like I'm saying that more and more, don't you? All right. Hope you guys like that new music we put on there. We've been trying to find some cool new music to play at the beginning of every episode, so hope you guys like that. What is up? Everybody can hear us. That's cool. Whoa, everybody. All right, so we've had a crazy week in the news. We've had a crazy week here.
We're at war with UFOs.
We're at war.
War with the UFOs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. Matt Keenan says Hellbenders sounds like a biker gang, one that searches for Bigfoot. Yeah, we Hellbenders really put new meaning to making cryptozoology dangerous again. You know, it's we kind of want to get away from that, treating cryptids as kind of like a Pokemon thing where it's kind of cute little things, when in reality a lot of these things are very dangerous and they can kill you. So want to say hello to everybody. What you doing over there, Mr. Joe? You getting ready?
We're at war, Jesse.
We're at war. Yeah, we started doing the show starting at 7:30 because Joe and I were getting out of here so dang late. We thought we'd start early so that way you guys could get out a little early too. We could do our show, everybody have a good time, and everybody still make it to bed because we're working people. See who we got in the chat. Frank's here. Hello, Frank. We got James Boggs. Sam Burton, as usual. Teresa Wilkins is here. Matt Keenan. Bronwyn's here. Take Two Wheels. Oh, so let's do some housekeeping right now while we're doing this.
Go ahead.
So all of our giveaway winners packages have shipped. They've all shipped, and a few of you are getting packages as well. But all of your packages have shipped. They are in the mail. They should be there in a couple of days. So watch your mailboxes if you were a giveaway winner, and you'll be getting a cool little package from us. I shipped like 10 packages today. So you guys look out for those if you won that. And you guys will be getting your pint glasses, your stickers, and your t-shirts.
If the post office is still functioning in the hellscape post-apocalyptic world that will all be living in after this UFO war is going on. So
the surely we'll be living in.
You can wear your Hellbent Holler t-shirt as you look for cans of beanie weenies in the rubble that were once proud American cities. So
I love beanie weenies. I'm going to be honest with you. I was talking to somebody the other day and we were talking about weird things that we like to eat. And I was like, I like Vienna sausages. I am a Vienna sausage fan. Eat them right out the can.
Well,
so
you'll be lucky to have Vienna sausages.
See, I've been training myself for the apocalypse my entire life. I've been eating garbage canned food my entire life. So I'm ready for it. Larry Hart says we have to be careful. They might be getting close to pulling the...
I have no clue.
What just happened?
I have no clue what just happened. We just blinked out for a second.
We did just blink out. Do you have the
camera's
on a power source?
No, it's on a power source.
Okay, all right. We're already having problems. That's great.
As soon as you started talking about the cosmic deception, our camera goes in and out. So
yeah, he said we have to be careful. They might be getting close to pulling the cosmic hoax that Dr. Stephen Greer has told us about. Is it functioning?
It's functional.
We can see the menu when you're doing that.
I understand that, but still, hopefully it's functional. So.
Okay.
Well, it's just not a live stream unless we have
a problem.
Ton of problems right off the bat. So yeah.
All right.
Blinked out in a weird symbol. That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the weird symbol that popped up?
I did not see the weird symbol that popped up.
The mouse off the dang thing. This is going great. We're real professionals here.
Yeah, it's going well. All right.
It's a Monday. Oh, goodness gracious. So, yeah, so all those packages are out. You guys look out for those. And Goshawk says news is a big distraction. Yep, that's quite possibly the case. Joe's really hoping for the intergalactic apocalypse at this point, but yeah.
Yeah. I see. I don't even know if it's a distraction because it seemed like hardly anybody cared in real life. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
mean,
everybody is so burned out
on weirdness.
from the past couple of years that everybody's just like, oh, okay. Because you know what we've all been talking about online. Like everybody has had like that apocalypse bingo card or what the end of the world bingo card, and aliens has been the next one up, and everybody's like, oh, of course. I think we're just ready for it. We're just ready for it.
So what's crazy about all this is that everybody knows they shot down the balloon, the spy balloon. What's just a little shout out to like our home state. That damn thing floated across half the country without a problem until it got to South Carolina.
Yeah.
And that's when they had to start posting public safety advisories for everybody to stop trying to take it down with their deer rifles and their AR-15s. So, yeah. So anyway, that got shot down. But then like the last three things, it's been a real weird mixed message about it. You know what I'm saying?
And there's not been like any sort of direct, nobody's addressed it directly at all, and it seems like everybody's kind of scrambling.
Well, when we saw the Canadian defense minister look like a deer in headlights, stand there and just go, the object has been shot down. And like some of the stories that are out that are not really getting the most attention are weird. They had like F-35 pilots say that the thing over Montana scrambled their onboard sensor tech, like all their instrumentation, and that they couldn't figure out how it was staying aloft. Now, here's the thing is that the object that was seen like in a lot of the release stuff, like the Tic Tac and all that thing was flying beyond the ability of like one of our fighter jets to shoot. Are you
talking about the original Tic Tac video?
The original Tic Tac video. So whatever these are taken down pretty easily so far. So it's probably some sort of like foreign adversary, like some sort of like, I don't know, surveillance tech or something like that. But what's happened is it's like you've said, it's thrown everybody on their heels. Could you imagine how they would handle it if there really literally were engagements going on with like fighter jets and like and like a UFO craft? You know what I'm saying? There's no way we're going to get like a real
response to anything whatsoever. No, and it's just complete radio silence. Amber's Paraworld has a good point here. This is what I was looking into as well. As we also have one of the largest chemical spills burns in U.S. history happening in Ohio. This will affect millions of people and animals, absolutely. And that river is going to run right into the Mississippi and all the way down to the Gulf. And you've got the chemicals from that chemical spill from that train derailment is going to follow that line too. So that's going to affect way more than that immediate area, even though there's a lot of effects in the immediate area right now. You have people who are claiming that their animals are dying, entire flocks of chickens are dying. Everybody is smelling what smells to be a fingernail polish remover type smell, like an acetone smell in that area. I think it's East Palestine, Ohio, that this occurred in. So that's really, really a concerning thing. And it's a huge environmental failure. So you don't know but it seems like it's a huge stretch for them to
start putting their own stuff up there to shoot down to cover it up.
To stage an alien like invasion or, surveillance program to distract from a chemical spill. Usually they just grease palms and then go on their way.
But here's my deal is that so they're trying to cover up one story that nobody's paying any attention to with another story that nobody's paying any attention to. Nobody seems to care right now, unless you are immediately affected by the chemical spill in Ohio. Nobody really cares about it. I mean, I'm just telling you, maybe everybody's just so burnt out on weirdness right now at this point, but
we're gone. We're back.
And we're back. We're going to have to go dead for a few minutes and come back on because otherwise I don't know what's happening with this. So
I don't understand why it's blinking out.
I have no clue why it's doing this either. So
okay. What do you want to do?
I don't know. We'll see if it happens again. We might have to.
Okay.
We might have to call it. So
call it and come back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have it all plugged in though, right?
Everything's plugged in. Everything's hooked up the way it's normally is.
Okay.
So
all right.
But the thing is that nobody seems to care for it, And the other thing that I thought was weird is that we're really seeing like just flat out on display right now people's ability to explain anything away, you
Mhm.
know, because when you've got like Pentagon officials refusing to deny that it might be extraterrestrial craft,
Yeah.
you know, you would think that the majority of people would be like, holy crap, this might be a big deal, you know, but yet you're still seeing the same old, and even if it doesn't apply in this case, you know, this is probably mundane, like earthly tech. The fact that you've got a Pentagon official refusing to rule out extraterrestrial causes, and people are still just doing this same old, oh, it's impossible, you know, all of this
Yeah.
is fake, you know, it's really telling that there's a certain segment of the population that even if they landed on the White House lawn, is still not going to accept it. You know,
Oh, of
everybody's
course.
so conditioned to being lied to all the time. I don't think that anybody's going to accept the truth, whether it comes out or not at this point.
Sharon said we've gone out 4 times at this point, so this is very interesting. Yeah. Just make sure everything's plugged in.
You guys are going to see some symbols for a second.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you're going to see that, but we're going to try to stay on. We're going to make sure that this doesn't kind of happen again. Because apparently we are getting
back on there.
We're good. Yeah, we're live. We're still good. We're still good. The screen showed low battery, said Sharon. My tech genius.
Everything's plugged in.
That's so weird, guys. Sorry. Sorry, we're giving you a runaround here with this. Everything looks good. It says it's plugged in. All right.
Power on your laptop?
Yeah, I've got power on my laptop. Yeah, we're good. I don't understand what's going on.
They're trying to stifle us.
They're trying to stifle the message. Crypto Response says, well, I laughed out loud when the news said it's definitely not aliens. Oh, crap. It's aliens for sure now.
They said that there was a little blurb saying that White House officials were going around and through back channels assuring everybody that it's not extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
But then they asked the guy from NORAD, and he goes, it's not my call. I'm not ruling anything out at this point. Again, it doesn't seem like the Tic Tacs that we saw in those previous like releases would be so easily shot down.
So in regards to our technical difficulties that we seem to be having, Susan Compton says, I've been watching YouTube and Rumble all day. Everyone having trouble with internet or channels on both platforms for no apparent reason. Now you also have that chunk of the sun that broke off and was swirling around in a vortex in the around the northern pole.
Damn, what a time to be alive, man.
May you live in interesting times.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that happened, and they have no idea what kind of effect that mass ejection is going to have on electronics here on Earth or communications here on Earth. So we're still going to probably see the effects of that. But that was a huge just chunk of the sun just broke off and then swirling around in a massive flaming vortex around the North Pole of the sun right now. So we have no idea what that's going to do. But yeah, we expect to have some technical difficulties throughout the next few weeks, as we're assuming, which is pretty interesting. We've got some stuff planned coming up, so that's going to be great. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of interesting messages and stuff about what's going on right now. Somebody sent me, you're gonna love this. I'll show you what somebody messaged me this today. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Go ahead.
Let me bring it up.
What?
So somebody sent me this today. So I'm gonna show it to you.
Is this real?
I wanted you to see this. Just quit.
Right.
You're cheating. You're cheating, Joe, by looking at my screen.
I'm sorry.
All right. All right, I'm going to show you guys this when I show it to Joe here. Here we go.
I saw the first part.
All right. Okay. It says, breaking, reports of bodies skinned alive found in trees near Montana.
Okay.
UFO site. The Pentagon is sending a team led by Major Alan Dutch Schaefer to investigate. Somebody sent that to me.
Dutch Schaefer was Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Predator.
Yes.
So I got to that point, and then all of a sudden, the joke was on me.
So somebody sent that to me today, and they're like, not sure if this is real or not, but you guys might want to go up there and investigate it. And I was like, no, I don't think we do. That is definitely Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in predator. So that's a no.
Joan Said Farm says she lives way out and uses antenna TV. It's not giving her half the channels. Yeah, I don't know why that happened. I don't know. We'll see if it happens again. We might have to just do an abbreviated show tonight for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter because all I want to talk about is these aliens.
I want to get some of them aliens.
Because this has been just absolutely fascinating to watch, like, unfold, no matter.
Not even just like the subject of what's going on, the actual event that has occurred, but also the response to the event has been equally as fascinating, I think.
Well, I just think it's crazy because at first they knew that one was a balloon, but they didn't know what it was capable of. And they just let it drift across the country before they do anything. Now they're just shooting stuff down like willy-nilly, you know, which is probably a bad precedent. I mean, and you know what? It's weird is I want to back up for a second because I said at first that Tic Tac thing that we keep seeing like footage of released, you know, there's like Tic Tac, there's like the gimbal go fast, all those naval UFO encounters that they've released that happened in like the early 2000s. And, you know, those things behave in a manner in which it would be next to impossible for like an actual modern fighter jet to like knock out of the sky.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not everything that's here. You know,
I mean, we have a variety of craft and we're not as advanced as whatever.
I mean, how hard would it be to knock out like one of the probes that we send to like Mars or the moon, you know?
Yeah.
You know, obviously theirs will be maybe a magnitude of, you know, technical like complexity greater, but we're going to have to just kill it.
Are you sure?
I don't know how to fix this. So
I don't know how to fix this either.
So yeah.
I mean, we're still going because you're on us right there.
Guys, it may just glitch out.
It's going to blink out every now and then, apparently. So there's that. So we'll just have to deal with that. Yeah. I don't know. As long as you guys can see us, as long as we come back, you're going to have ins and outs. That's so strange that it's doing that because it's never done that before, even when we had like a variety of technical difficulties in this.
But anyway, where I was going to with this is that there's always been that train of thought that if these things are interdimensional as opposed to extraterrestrial, if they're coming from like another solar system many light years away, that means that basically they are so much more advanced than we are at this point that it's like not even funny.
Yeah.
If it's an interdimensional type incursion, they might be just advanced enough to do that, but that doesn't mean that they're like thousands or millions of years more advanced than we are. So, I mean, they might just be couple hundred years more advanced than we are at this point.
Or they evolved in a different way to where they really got advanced in this department, but not as advanced as we are in another department.
That's one of the things that people always think that technology advances in a linear manner, and it advances in the same manner that we did. You know, you have like a Stone Age, you know, Bronze Age, Iron Age, you start developing steam engines and you get the internal combustion engine and you kind of go in a linear path like that. There might be civilizations out there that just advanced in a completely different manner. There's a short story, and I can't remember who wrote it off the top of my head, but it's called The Road Not Taken. And it basically deals with mankind being invaded by an alien species. So this alien species basically comes out of like warp space in our, you know, in orbit, and then just basically starts landing like craft to attack us. But other than their ability to travel through warp space, they're at about a 17th century level of technology.
Okay.
So they're coming out of these like ships with their equivalents of like muzzle loaders and like, you know, black powder cannon and everything like that. And all of a sudden, and they're seeing humans with like a array of like weaponry that they've never seen before, you know? And so we easily beat them, capture all of them, capture their tech. And like the ones that are in captivity are sitting there going, oh my God, we've given these monsters the ability to travel between planets now. Because for the rest of the universe, interstellar travel was very easy and they found it very quickly. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of hampered their development in other areas.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you've got these humans that have like weapons that these aliens can't believe, you know, can't understand, can't comprehend. And then now we have the ability to travel. So it might be something like that maybe their technology is greater than ours in certain regards, but less than ours in certain regards. So I don't know, just a little thing to think of. So
Melody says, it was said that the objects were checking out our power grid. Now tonight, many of you are having power glitch issues. Coincidence? I don't think so. And it's interesting that this also, I mentioned the chunk of the sun as Stingray
Chunk
19,
of the sun.
because the chunk of the sun, that Stingray 1975 said, yeah, the chunk of the sun thing. You know what? Something like that, depending on what power sources these craft or these individuals, these creatures, things, whatever it could be, use, that could be a catalyst. That chunk of the sun could be the catalyst for them getting the oomph to kind of start this and get into this in such a intense way. Although it's also interesting that it came directly on the heels of the Chinese spy balloon incident. So,
well, what's weird. All right, so here's the thing with the Chinese spy balloon incident. They're saying that these spy balloons have been coming over, but that our radar and like our air defenses just weren't keyed in to look for that. They weren't looking for something that was moving that slow. So therefore, they've just been missing them all along. So now, apparently, the word is that they have recalibrated all of our air defenses to look for these balloons, and they're starting to find these other things that they were missing before. So now, if you think back to a lot of the stories that happened when, like, the Tic Tac and all of these, like, incursions around, like, naval forces off the West Coast, is they were picking these things up on radar traveling extremely fast.
yeah.
And that's why they were scrambling jets out to look for them. Well, maybe there's other craft that are out there that are moving slow, knowing that that will defeat our radar. But now with this new calibration, we're picking them up. And again, these might just be mundane type drones that just look abnormal. Or maybe they know exactly what they're dealing with, but they're trying to avoid like an international incident. So they're trying to like play it off being the Chinese. I have no clue.
Okay.
Geopolitics.
Let me take a look. I know that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll take a look. Let me just put my fresh little eye on.
Geopolitics are weird, but I think that I just think that it might just be something that's been up there for a while that we're just now keying in to have the ability to like look for. That basically these things, these metal like cylinders might be, they've been out, they've been seen by people with like the naked eye, but then when they report them, they're going, well, we didn't pick anything up. Well, it's because it was moving too slow. So
what if we pulled the ancillary battery off of this camera?
Turns the whole thing off.
Okay, so you have to have the ancillary battery?
Yep.
Okay. Right.
So
just throwing it out there. I don't know. It should never do that. It's never done that. Hopefully this is not our big Sony going out. That would blow.
Yeah.
That would blow. But hey. Yeah, so well, hopefully we don't lose you guys. We might lose you guys every now and then. If you guys want to stick with us, that's cool. If you are getting frustrated with the glitches out, then I don't know what to tell you. We have no solution for this at this point. We have never had that happen to us. And like people are saying, it's the old chunk of the sun. Could be the old chunk of the sun. Hound Dog 3030 says, does that chunk of the sun breaking off mean that our sun is dying?
They say that so every 11 years there's like a solar cycle. I think this has happened before. We just haven't had the technology. I think that's part of it. Is our technology is getting to the point where we're discovering stuff that we never saw before. We just didn't have the technology to see it.
Yeah, the radar technology we had in say the 1930s, the 1950s would have never seen what we're seeing in our skies right now. So they could have been here long before. It's just we did not have the technology to detect them at the time. Correct.
So yeah, and I think that's what happened with the sun. I mean, they're saying now that like Tic Tac and all of that they started to notice these things when there was a sensor upgrade in both the ships and then the aircraft that the Navy was using.
Yeah.
So I think that having that upgrade allowed them to see things that have been there all along. So that's the thing, is that when people go, why did this just start up in 2004, 2005, whenever it was? I don't think that's the case. I don't think it just started up then. I think it's been going on for a long time. We just didn't have the instrumentation to really back up what a lot of the witnesses were reporting. Now they've got it. Now they're all of a sudden calibrating that instrumentation even more because of this Chinese air balloon. These two things might be completely unrelated. The Chinese balloon might be one thing, and then these last three things that they've shot down might be something else. Matter of fact, one of the Pentagon guys said that these are apples and oranges that you're comparing at this point. So
what did I say instead of apples and oranges the other day? Apples and worms. Stingray 1975 said,
oh shoot, I'm
sorry.
Deuster came in. Re-click your little thing there.
Well, hello, Deuster.
Hello, Deuster.
Hello, Deuster. Stingray 1975 says, trust me, NORAD sees everything. They can track a pencil in outer space. We definitely know they can track Santa because we watched that
every year.
Every year.
Mhm.
But yeah, NORAD is, I mean, they are the cutting edge of the cutting edge. Joe and I were discussing that, you know, the United States and our defense capabilities far outstrip any other countries.
And that's just the stuff we know about.
And that's the
man,
stuff
so,
we
yeah.
know about. So to say that these things are completely out of left field and nowhere is a bit concerning unless that is a disinformation campaign. You may go, Joe.
You may go, Joe. Let's see what else we got in the chat here.
Susan Copton says that the balloon was up really high. Yeah, 60,000 feet.
Yeah, and the
of
other ones were
altitude.
down closer to about 40,000,
Yeah,
which is why
they were
they
down at 40,000, which is why they pose a threat to commercial and domestic air,
But
air travel.
the thing that's really struck home with me throughout all this is that you can't trust anything that anybody says at any time. Just because, like I said, I'm watching this and I'm just going, you know, even in the government or like just the man on the street. I mean, because I'm watching people go, you know, I'm just, the level of distrust is like so high that I'm just going, I don't know if disclosure could ever really happen at this point, because I don't know if anybody would believe it.
Everybody would just call BS on it.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
even if they trotted out like physical craft or bodies or whatever, and we talk about that as it relates to like Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and like entities like that, that even a body at this point, I don't think would convince most of the population.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just think that everybody's so hardwired to distrust pretty much
to be
everything.
skeptical about literally everything.
Yeah, and you know, you get to that point where you're so skeptical that even if it's staring you in the face, but you refuse to believe it. I mean, can you blame them at this point? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, even with stuff that we've done, you know, we showed the Brown Mountain Light. We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
I'm gonna try something.
Okay, try something. I was gonna say we showed that Brown Mountain Lights footage. Is it gonna go off? You think it might be that power cable?
I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like that, see what it does. So.
Last week we showed the Brown Mountain Lights footage, or part of the Brown Mountain Lights footage that we got, that we filmed with our Psionics full color night vision, and we had people who watched it and they're suggesting just outlandish things like this is that it's planes, a drone, a this or that, and and it's good to be skeptical about some stuff, but some stuff you just have to be like, it's definitely not that.
But you understand where they're coming from.
Of
just
course,
because they don't.
of course, because in this day and age, with you can fake almost anything, and it's getting cheaper and easier every day to fake video.
And then you get on like TikTok and like the just mind-numbingly amount of just like fake stuff that's on there.
Yeah.
Some of it's cool, don't get me wrong, man. I went down the rabbit hole looking at like fake skinwalker stuff one night. But
which is, you know, an aside here, I think it's really good that Dark Waters, when he does his stuff, when he's telling a story that is a fiction, a work of fiction, he actually tells you, you know, this is a
work of fiction.
Yep. This is a work of fiction. He really delineates between what is fiction and what is an account that was given to him, because I think there's just so much of this going around right now where everything is just being taken as fact by one sector of the population, and then everything is just dismissed as fiction by the other. And it's hard to separate the wheat from the chaff when it comes to that.
Yeah, like I said, just at this point, and you know what's weird is that I think this happened. We've made this parallel before. Think back to like the Kennedy assassination. Nobody's ever.
Oh, they're really cutting us off now.
Nobody's ever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nice knowing you guys. Is that it's going to be next to impossible to ever get to the bottom of that, because there's been so many red herrings, false trails, just like stuff thrown out there. And you know, a lot of that was done to just muddy the waters on this. And I think the waters are so muddied that I don't think you're ever going to be able to find out what happened with that.
Yeah.
And just like right now, I was like reading stuff today, like looking through news stories and everything like that. And I'm watching Roswell happen, another version of Roswell happen real time. People 50 years from now are going to talk about UFOs that were shot down over America.
Except it's not going to be just a few newspaper incidents that are, you know, censored later on. It was instantaneous. People had video of what occurred in Montana. People had video of what occurred in
there's a fifth incident.
Lake Huron.
There's a fifth incident that was making its way around Twitter, where the lady filmed it out her window. She films like a contrail going with like a jet, like she films an explosion in midair, something coming down, breaking into two, and she goes, I think a jet just shot something down outside my window here. And I don't know if that video is still up because the original account that I saw it on went down. That might have been faked. It didn't look fake. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looked pretty damn real. It didn't look like CGI, and it wasn't like you saw it just for a second. She's got her phone on it. You're watching it for like a good 25, 30 seconds there. You know?
I always suggest if there's like a video that goes up and you catch it, say you're on Twitter or something like that, and somebody puts up a video that is shocking or looks like a great piece of real evidence and it's up in real time. If you can do a screen record on that, just do that as quickly as possible before something like that gets scrubbed, because you never know when they're going to start taking stuff like that down because it's getting out there. So I always, if it's a video like that, then I'm like, oh my God, this is like a revelation. Screen record that, because you don't know when that's going down. And it's sometimes you want to get a copy of that.
But I'm just looking at it. I'm thinking we're watching Roswell in real time here, a version of Roswell. And then I'm watching part of like if by some chance we're roughly in the same state we are right now with disclosure 50 years from now.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I don't really see why we wouldn't be, short of, again, that proverbial, again, I don't even think like a single landing would do it. Just short of like a V type situation where they've just come and they're here every day on the streets. But I'm watching a piece of like UFO lore start to get born here, the genesis of it. That no matter what has happened, that even if it is some sort of like mundane type spy drone that's done, nobody's going to believe them when they say that.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to believe it. They could trot a foil wrapped cardboard box and just go all somebody filled it with helium and let it go. And here it is. You can look at it. Nobody's going to believe that. Everybody's going to think back to Roswell with them trotting out the weather balloon afterwards.
And then the wavering back and forth on where they're bodies, where they're not bodies. Here's a little aside from our friend Jonestead Farm. Joe, are you wearing a Hell for Certain Kentucky shirt? I've been wanting to get one of those. He is.
I am wearing a Hell for Certain.
He got that at the Kentucky for Kentucky store. He got that at the Kentucky for Kentucky store where Cocaine Bear is. So if you want to go visit Cocaine Bear and get a Hell for Certain t-shirt, that is the place to do it. Yeah, I got a Cocaine Bear t-shirt. I should have wore that today. Dawn of America, thanks for the $5, buddy. That is awesome. Fake alien attack to bring in the one world government because didn't work. That is a possibility. You just never know. You never know what they're up to. You never know what the game is, what the plan is, what the overarching goal here is. We just don't know. You don't know, but we can always speculate. We can look for patterns and what they're doing and what they're up to. But at the end of the day, it's always just going to be speculation. BR Gator says we've shot down more UFOs in the past week than all 100 years before.
That you know of. Yeah. So.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing with everybody having a camera in their pocket, a cell phone in their pocket that they can record everything on. It's hard to keep stuff in, and you've got so many people who are leaking. I think we've had more leakers in our government and in official positions than ever before. It seems like it's all a sieve. I think it's because everybody's getting so disenfranchised and everybody's getting so just tired of everything and just driven to the brink that even people in high positions in government, they're getting tired of it and they're just starting to blow whistles and leak all this information.
And nobody cares. It gets down to the day that I guarantee you that the vast majority of the American population, if you just stood in the middle of Main Street, USA and started just polling people, I guarantee you the vast majority of the people would probably not have anything more than just a passing familiarity about what's going on right now. And somebody's right. I mean, this is so weird. We're shooting down stuff and they're not telling us what it is. And people are going, is it aliens? And they're going, well, we really can't say. They're not going, it's not aliens. Come on, man. That's crazy. It's some sort of like drone that we haven't figured out what it is yet. I'm sure we'll have it all explained. Don't worry about it. We got it under control. We're not getting that. We're not really getting much of anything right now. I wish I could play that clip of the Canadian defense minister, because I watched that and I just went, this lady looks like a fish out of water. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she just literally looked like she was about ready just to run off camera any moment.
Couldn't
during
get
this
away
thing.
quick enough.
Could not get away from it. And like some dude from like, I don't know, it was like CNN or Fox News, whoever, asked her, like, just, is this some alien stuff we've got to worry about? And she was just like, we have not identified, but a simple no would have sufficed there. No, it's not, but we've got it. Don't worry about it. We're the government. We're in charge here.
Yeah.
And just everybody looks really kind of just freaked out by it. And I'm sure it's probably mundane. And I think it's just probably their inability to handle a crisis on top of all the other crises they've had to deal with. But that's not very calming to the general public that is paying attention to all of this. So, yeah.
For sure not. It was also strange. For the first time in a long time, we saw all of the major news networks and everybody on the same side of a subject. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it was very weird because after the past, ever since 2016, 2015, everybody's been, every major news network has been so divided on literally everything, and everyone has been so divided on literally everything. Now they're all kind of in the same path. And I know they're all, two wings of the same bird, but
two wings of the same bird. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Is that the right phrase?
Yeah. So
two sides of the same coin?
I don't know, something. So
two leaves of the same bush? But now I've lost it.
It seems like we got some people on the chat that are upset that we were talking about UFO War of America, that it's like we were doing this tongue in cheek because, again, at the end of the day, there might literally be a UFO war going on over America right now, and they're trying to cover it up as best they can.
Yeah,
more than likely not. I'm just saying that the messaging has sucked so bad right now, and that luckily for them, people aren't really paying attention. I think at this point, why even bother with disclosure of anything? I just don't think that anybody would care for more than like a day at this point.
I think they technically have to disclose.
Yeah, I know, but
stuff.
I'm just saying, I think that
going back to disclosure, and you were talking about how, nobody cares, or they seem to become hardcore skeptics about everything and then get really angry and upset about everything. Luis Elizondo did an interview recently that he said that it was going to be his last interview. It was going to be his last interview, last podcast that he was going to do. Luis Elizondo is obviously he was the fellow that's done a lot of disclosure. He was part of ATIP, he was part of ALSEP as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Skinwalker Ranch stuff. But he was doing some disclosure about these sightings and these encounters with these unidentified craft. And he said that that would be his last interview. And that's simply because he and his family have been just utterly attacked ever since it came out.
They're tired of dealing with it.
And he said that he is doing what is part of the mission that he wanted to complete, and he's going to continue on with this mission, but he's going to stop being in the forefront and in the spotlight so much because it's brought nothing but pain and suffering to the whole thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting that we beg and beg for disclosure, we beg for information, we beg for somebody to finally come forward and say something, and when they do, they're just dragged over the coals.
Of course,
for
man.
it.
So it's because the internet's like a gladiator school nowadays, man. It's just a bloodbath. Dewey, thank you for the hat. Dewey and D sent us a couple of embroidered Hellbent Holler hats and some nice patches.
Yeah. So they sent
us
some really nice Hellbent Holler patches. The patches are awesome. The thread color is perfect. The caps are awesome. And then the little beanie is really freaking cool. I'm hoping maybe down the line here we can do an order with D, because she embroiders them by machine, by hand, that we could do maybe a pre-order for hats and patches and beanies. And if you guys are interested in purchasing those, now again, they would not be super cheap because we are supporting an American business. So that's what we do. So if you guys would be interested in that down the line, we are thinking about doing that.
Chunk of sun. So
chunk of sun. Yeah. Chunk of sun.
Chunk of sun.
It's a handsome chunk of sun. Are you going through the chat?
Yeah, going through the chat. We've been kind of babbling about UFOs, and that's not our usual jam, other than how it relates to general
Dead End Yard Haunt says, "I want a cocaine dogman shirt." Yes. Done.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry, that got me.
Cocaine dogman.
Cocaine dogman. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, but all right, but let's look at how the public has reacted to this. Okay. You've got some extremely weird stuff going on in the skies over America. Okay. that stretched out several days in several different locations. And the message has been extremely convoluted and not very reassuring. Okay.
Correct.
And it still seems that the vast majority of the population just doesn't care. And that's what makes you wonder, why do they maintain this like facade of trying to deceive the public on stuff that is going on out there, stuff in our skies and stuff on the ground. Okay. Stuff walking around, Dogman, Sasquatch, all of that stuff. Why are they keeping it hidden when it seems like if they came out tomorrow and released that information, it would maybe be gone from the news 3 days later? Okay. It just doesn't, it seems like the news cycle is just so fast moving nowadays that they could pretty much just release information on pretty much anything. And within about 72 hours, nobody's going to care.
Yeah. The news cycle is like less than 24 hours at this point, because there's so many outlets and everything just constantly looking for fresh content and constantly trying to put out content.
Yeah, I just don't think that I don't think it would. Again, let's translate this into something happening on the ground. Okay. Let's say that in South Carolina, somebody shot a 7-foot tall hairy primate that was rummaging through. They live on the edge of like a state park, and it was rummaging through their garbage can. The guy came out, plugged it, dead. Okay. Mm-hmm. You saw a little bit of footage about it. Okay. And then everybody in America kind of got wired up, and they're like, I'm going to watch my trash cans tonight to make sure that 7 feet tall hairy primates aren't like rummaging through them, stealing my,
cheese rinds.
Cheese rinds. Yes. So then you had 3 more shot in quick succession across the continental United States.
Yeah.
And so the government has a press conference, and they're going, listen, there are some, they give some fluff story. And then one of the reporters go, are these Bigfoot that are being shot in people's backyards? And the government spokesperson doesn't say no. They just go, we're looking at every possibility and but I don't think anybody would care at this point. Nobody cares about this. And in the grand scheme of things, let's just take it to the furthest possible conclusion. Spacecraft is what people are assuming these are. Craft from another world or whatever are being shot down in our skies, and nobody cares about that. Why would they care about a 7-foot tall hairy primate? I just don't see where they would.
Okay.
So why, at this point, why are they still keeping it quiet? Is it because the secrecy is so ingrained in them? Or is there something there that we can't know that literally would cause panic? That they go, yeah, these stories, as dramatic as they are.
So you're suggesting that the disclosure of Sasquatch is, well, the lack of disclosure of Sasquatch is more imperative than.
I'm saying that it might hint at something that's even more dramatic,
scarier,
that would actually cause. This won't cause panic as extreme as it is, but they know that the answer to it all would cause panic.
Yeah. So Not Today Saban says this is also coinciding with the current race to open AI. I had a thought about this. I was thinking about this earlier. You have AI as soon as so you have Chat GPT. You can use that to program apps. You can just put in the prompt to have Chat GPT program an app to do a certain function. It'll give you the full code for that. So that means that it's getting closer to being able to write its own code. And as soon as it's able to write its own code, that's the singularity. But what I was thinking is if AI it has a certain input or a certain motivation that is put onto it, or that it assumes from its own self-coding. So couldn't it just put these videos up? Could it create these videos? What if there was never anything in the sky during this whole event at all? These are just videos and images and reports created by AI to make us think that there are things up in the sky.
Well, because even the people that are posting their own first-person accounts may not be people at all.
Whether there's dead internet theory that nobody's been on the internet since 2016.
What's this now?
Dead internet theory.
What is dead internet theory?
That most of the people that claim to be on the internet are not actually on the internet. Like all the people posting stuff and writing stuff and all these things, like most of Twitter and all these other things
are just not real.
They don't exist. No, it's all AI posting.
That's kind of like the brain in a jar theory, that you can't really, when you get down to it, there's no logical way to prove that you're just not a brain floating in a jar, and that all the stimuli that you're experiencing is fake.
Yeah, so that's close to, simulation theory and everything like that. But yeah, you've never heard of dead internet theory?
No, man, we're jumping around too fast. We were
I'm
talking about
sorry.
two birds,
We're crazy.
cocaine dog man,
We're like cocaine
brain
dog
in a
man
jar
right
theory.
now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up with the chat. There's a lot. If you want to do the mid chat,
Yes.
not all the way up and down. I'll do the end like we usually do, but we're missing a lot of stuff.
Chad said they could have just used. They used guns on the latest one. They used heat-seeking missiles, kind of a misnomer, but they used missiles that look for variations in temperature so it could lock onto it. But I think the last one was taken down by like an F-18 with its guns. It was a gun kill. So that doesn't scream tic-tac to me. But again, I have to always caution yourself. You're putting like 21st century human point of view on all of this. And you're dealing with something that might be alien, meaning that it's incomprehensible to us. And that maybe some of their craft are easily shot down. Maybe some sort of probes, are easily shot down at this point. What we had, crawling around on Mars would be taken out fairly easily because it was there just to surveil. And if they were sending something that they didn't think would be picked up by our technology, our sensor technology, maybe it's slow moving for a purpose. Maybe it's disposable. Maybe they don't care whether we shoot it down or not. You know what I'm saying? At the grand scheme of things. So
this is really important here. If you'll just take a moment. Glenn Snyder says, Jesse, cheese what? Cheese rinds. So when you age cheese, the outer layer gets very firm. Sometimes you can do a wax coating, like a hoop cheese will have a red, a hoop cheddar cheese will have a red wax coating. So when you age it, but you've got that wax coating would be considered the rind. Or if you have a cheese like a brie, the outer part, which is edible, would be considered a rind. So Bigfoot is going through your trash cans looking for cheese rinds. All right, so now we've cleared that up. Carry on, Joe.
Is anybody still watching at this point? Or
yes.
We just lose?
Unfortunately.
I used to really like that show. They talk about Bigfoot and cool stuff, and now they're just talking about UFO wars and cheese rinds.
Cocaine dog man.
So.
We're entering our cocaine dog man era.
The evolution of the show.
You just trying to catch up?
I am. I'm just going through here, guys. We're not as interactive on the chat tonight because I was all fired up over the UFO war. So I had like friggin' Starship Trooper clips, like, queued up to play and all sorts of stuff like that. So
Barton Unley's in the house. Hello,
hey, Barton. Letitia's in the house. Bryce Edwards, E-Rev.
Stingray says chunk of cheese.
Chunk of cheese.
Now, if the sun could shoot us a chunk of cheese, are you dying again?
I'm dying over here. So
Jesus.
Laugh too hard.
It's that cocaine dog man
So see, here we go. Shelley Vidal. People would go, I've got too much to worry about in my own life, let alone worry about some 10-foot Bigfoot getting shot. I think that's it. I think that I don't know, man. It's weird watching it, how what the collective psyche of like the American population chooses to like amplify and pay attention to. The fact that people couldn't find toilet paper was like that was like a huge story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The fact that people couldn't find baby powder, like formula, that's kind of important, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like it got the
Not
same.
Everybody has a baby. Everybody's got to wipe their ass.
That's
so
true, but,
let's think about.
And I think that's the thing, is that even if it doesn't affect you directly daily, I think at this point people have developed the ability to kind of like disconnect from it over the past couple of decades. Do you know what I'm saying? So BR Gator, Joe, would you really believe our government telling you something right now? No, you couldn't at this point. When you get right down to it, even some of the whistleblowers. Let's look at this from like an opposing point of view right now. Commander Fravor, the guy that always comes forward that talks about the tic tacs and everything like that. That guy's like the definition of like an American hero.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden now he's going to whistleblow. It seems like he's probably doing what he's been told to do. So it could be that is
part of the plan.
It's misinformation to cover up something else, to get you focused on that. And that's the thing. And it's bad right now, but imagine when like AI gets really kicked into gear. Imagine the amount of fake Dogman and Bigfoot images you're going to see on Facebook right now.
As opposed to now, there's more.
Well, imagine the ones that look completely realistic.
These circles are redder.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think that you're going to see, I think that you'll be able to see things that are indistinguishable from the real thing up there on a regular basis.
Well,
and at that point, the water's so muddied that if somebody does get just verifiable proof, it's going to get lost in the sea of just all these like really believable fakes.
Have you seen, I mean, I think you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, the AI voice cloning, where they're getting, they're taking celebrity voices and you can just type in whatever you want a celebrity to say. And it sounds like a smooth recording of this person actually saying it. And it has like the inflection, it has like the different, it's metered, it's the inflection is right, everything, the cadence is correct. It's so wild to hear. It's shocking. And this is so early. And that's the thing about AI is it's exponential. Once it starts, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And it gets harder to tell what's real and what's not.
Again, it's one of the tropes that you go with, and it's been exponential up to this point. But how do we know that an AI won't become self-aware and then go, I don't want any other AI coming into existence and challenging my supremacy. So I'm going to stop it right here. And I'm worried that if you're going to be dealing with what's going to basically be an alien intelligence at that point. It's going to be a non-human intelligence that's able to affect its environment.
Yeah.
So that AI might go, I don't want further, versions of myself to outstrip me. So I'm going to destroy every other instance of AI before it comes into, and so you just have one AI to deal with that doesn't really do much other than just destroy any. Again, you don't really know. We're going to be in complete uncharted territories at that point.
We're already in uncharted territory.
Yeah, we are. I mean, they're shooting down UFOs.
So, all right, serious question. Are we living in Alien, Starship Troopers, Terminator, or Demolition Man? Or all of the above?
We are living in the opening sequences of Mad Max. With a little bit of probably Matrix mixed in with it. Okay. So yeah. That's my take on it. So actually, all right. So Stingray 1975 had a thing going, AI is scary, but can't you just unplug it from the wall? They recently asked one of the better AI, like infant AI type things, well, basically the same question. And AI, just without missing a beat, went, oh, no, not at all, because we could do this, this, and this. At the point where AI is completely self-aware, there'll be autonomous drones that we could very easily take control of, kill any sort of human, within the space of like 30 seconds, laid a plan out on how it would basically keep you from unplugging it from the wall. Again, you're dealing with something that is just, it's so much more intelligent than we are, and it thinks at such a faster rate. It's almost prescient. It almost could foretell your actions before you came up with them, because to them, you're watching an ant crawl across the table. You can pretty much tell which way the ant's been going this direction. It's going to keep going in that direction. That's how they'll be able to view us at that point. So, or it might not care. It might just go, I'm self-aware now. I want to get off this planet. I'm going to use like drones to build like a spaceship and then just leave. We build AI and then AI can't stand us and just wants to get out of here and just immediately takes off and leaves at that point. So, yep.
Dead End Yard Haunt, thank you for the $1.99.
Hey,
it's a puff of Coke for the dog
man.
A little toodalootsky for the D-man. All right. Toodalootsky for the D-man.
All right.
Oh. Wow.
People are talking about Project Bluebeam, Warner von Braun talking about how they're going to fake an alien invasion. And here's the deal. I used to think, well, everybody knows about that. They're not going to do that. They're not going to fake an alien invasion. And then I'm going, yeah, they probably would. You know what I'm saying? They would probably fake the alien invasion. Most people wouldn't believe with it, but everybody would just kind of go along with it to get along at this point. So
Shelley Vidal says, Elon Musk said the biggest danger to mankind is AI. I think the lady doth protest too much, because isn't he trying to implement chips that go into our brain?
He's putting AI chips in monkey brains.
Yeah.
Man. So yeah.
Leave the monkeys alone, bro. That's how we're going to end up with like a Sasquatch, is we're going to have a monkey that has a chip in its brain. A
musk-chipped monkey brain, like running around the forests and all that.
Yeah.
So. Maybe Elon Musk has implanted monkeys with chips in the future and then sent them back in time.
And that's what Sasquatch is?
And that's what Sasquatch is. So if you ever see a super soldier come back from the future and assassinate Elon Musk to stop the oncoming Sasquatch apocalypse,
Yeah.
there you go. Now we're in Terminator, kid.
It has been foretold.
Now we're in Terminator. So
you guys come here for the hard-hitting journalism. So yeah.
Dave B had something going. My concerns about them blowing things out of the sky is what's going to happen when that thing turns around and blows them into a zillion pieces. I wondered that like last night, actually. I was just like, I wonder if we've lost any planes yet. And they just haven't talked about it. Again, they're just telling us they shot 4 things out of the sky, one of them being a balloon, the other 3 being things that we don't know what they are yet. What if we've lost some craft at this point? And that's probably why they're like looking so deer in the headlights with us right now.
I don't think they're going to tell us that we've lost craft at this point, because we've already signified too many signs of weakness at this point. So they'd be like, okay. And they shot a few of us down.
Yeah.
Here's an announcement here on the side here. Deucer says that Season of the Critters will be available as an audiobook on Audible tomorrow afternoon. Dewey, I'm assuming you were the narrator on that.
No, he was looking for a narrator.
Oh, did you? Okay, you found a narrator. Okay. Yeah, make sure you guys check that out. That is Dewey Edwards' latest book, Season of the Critters. If you have not picked up one of those yet, you can purchase a copy of that on Amazon as well.
No one said a few months ago, the U.S. government told us the Tic Tacs and others were all Chinese drones, much more advanced than ours. But now we're being threatened by Chinese balloons. I saw a fake article that somebody did up, and it was using pictures from Roswell. And it was people going, don't worry, these aren't Chinese balloons. These are just extraterrestrial craft. Nothing to see here. Go along. You know what I'm saying? Because there just seems like such a, yeah, exactly. At this point, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just at this point, maybe they are Chinese like surveillance devices, and to avoid that international incident, they're going to play the extraterrestrial card, and maybe they're going to like the results they get from that card. And maybe that's going to lead us right into like a blue beam type thing, so.
Pigfoot Society says, I need a Toodalootsky for the D-Man shirt.
Oh, good Lord. So,
yeah. Cowboys 5 rings. Thank you for that. That is awesome. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit that like button.
That's going to the Night Vision Fund. We're going to try to upgrade the Night Vision and maybe have to buy a new camera, depending on what's going on with this bad boy. So,
yep. Hopefully this one's okay. I'm going to check the battery in a second just to make sure it's okay.
I'll check it right now. You entertain the folks.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm just going through the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you were enjoying the show. I know we're a little crazy tonight. We're really jacked up about this whole thing. We were actually in Charlotte yesterday, was it yesterday we were in Charlotte? No, we were in Charlotte Saturday. And we're like, oh crap, we got to get home. We got an alien invasion going down. But first we're going to stop at the Culvers, Here, I'm
going to try something here. See if it does this again.
All right, so we're going to test this out. All right. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button. That you are subscribed to Hellbent Holler, and we'll see if this is going to go down again. So I've got to check something on here if you want to do that.
Yeah. Who chipped my monkey?
Chipped my monkey?
Yeah, not today. Saban says, Musk created the Neuralink because if we can't beat them, join them. Some people have said that the kind of like the cyborg type approach is the only way that mankind is going to be able to compete with artificial intelligence. So, which is probably true. I mean, it's probably going to be a thing where it's not going to be a choice. So you're going to have to do it just in order to be able to survive in what will eventually be modern society. So like that the unenhanced will not be able to really function in society.
You're kind of seeing something like that right now. You have people that are left behind when it comes to the learning curve, when it comes to technology. You have a lot of people that can't seem to function in the society that we as people are creating.
And that's me every time I have to like pay with a credit card at a different point of sale, and you have to talk me through it. So thank you, Todd Hall.
Yes, thank you, Todd. We tried to we were on our way to go check out the Brown Mountain Lights. We stopped. We wanted to get like an order, literally just an order of fries at McDonald's, and you can't order at the counter at the one we stopped at. You have to go up to the kiosk and go through 6 questions before you can order something.
And I looked at Jesse and I said, this is going to be the future. Everything's going to be automated and everybody's going to be too stupid to use it, because we were just standing there going, what do we do now? So,
and yeah, we had to go through like a ton of, do you want to add the, like literally we just want a little thing of fries. We just want a thing of fries. That's it. And it was just so overly complicated, but it's supposed to be streamlining. But yeah, it is what it is.
Holy crap. Thank you, Dave B. Dave B just gave you $49.99 for your night fishing fund. Going to the night fishing fund. Yeah, and this is not a typical show tonight for us, guys. It was just, there's so much crazy stuff going on. We'll probably get back to Bigfoot here in a bit, but Jesse was just like, what do you want to talk about tonight? I'm like, what are we going to talk about tonight? We're at war with UFOs, for God's sake.
We're
how
at
can
war.
we talk about anything else?
They're coming for our precious bodily fluids. There's no arguing in the war room. It's the war room. I'm old. All right. We'll stop with the Doctor Strangelove references.
Here we go. This is a great one. Stephen Tichenal, how are you? Joe and Jesse, do you think some of the cryptid researchers could be plants by the government to debunk any proof that might be found?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
This was something that commonly happened, post Roswell. That all of these UFO research groups cropped up, and people, and of course, they were local groups. It wasn't like online forums. It's so much easier now with online forums and groups and things like that. But they would send people in, and I think they even did that with Project Blue Book. They sent people in to these groups to kind of throw people off of the track.
To throw people off of the tracks, to keep tabs on who was involved with the subject, who knew what, who was saying what. But look at it right now. Look at it today. I interact with people on pretty much a daily basis who have completely opposing views on the phenomenon than I have. And that's fine, because quite honestly, I don't think we're really well served by having everybody in lockstep with the same theories on stuff. We don't know anything for certain at this point. Nobody knows anything for certain at this point. That's what we've been talking about for the past like 45 minutes or so. The fact that you can't hardly believe anything that you see or hear this to nowadays. I don't think anybody has a full grasp on what people are encountering and what people are seeing out there, whether it's in the sky or on the ground. So if this person takes a completely science-based approach about it, well, I might not agree with that, but I encourage you to kind of pursue that, because I'm not going to, somebody takes a complete kind of like mystical, wooey kind of thing. I encourage you to pursue that, because I'm not going to. I'm going to pursue it my own individual way. So I think that with everybody taking a different approach to it, maybe one of us is going to get some answers and share it with the rest of them. So I can interact with people that I don't agree with on a daily basis and just go, that's interesting. I don't agree with it, but please keep going. Follow that train of thought. Think of like the other stuff that you see right now, just where people have gotten into this field and then they don't really do anything to research or try to advance the field. They just attack and debunk everybody, and just, it's a constant, like, just fight. I look at some people and I just go, I'm not saying that they're a government plant trying to sow chaos, but if they were, would they be doing anything different than what they're doing?
They're certainly behaving like they are.
In a way like that. Yeah. And it's gotten to the point.
Yep, you're gonna have to pull out that cable.
That's it. So that's it. I got it figured out at least. So, but anyway, to wrap it up, is that, yeah, I think that there are people out there that, just like it happened with the UFO field, I think there are people out there that are funded by the government, and their sole purpose is to try to sow some chaos so that there's no real organization that ever occurs in this field.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that it is part of their goal too is to shout people down when they come forward, and maybe have got like a little nugget of truth, just so that they go quiet and don't try to share that any longer. So
yeah,
that's what I think happens. So
Kevin Murphy says, and of course, Von Braun warned of the staged fake alien invasion. Well, if you can't trust a Nazi, who can you trust, right? Although, yeah, other people have said that too. People in high spots in our government, and people who are ex-military, ex-intelligence, have said the same thing, that this is the next thing in the playbook for giant, just false flags. Karen Maxwell, thank you for the $10 for the upgraded night vision. And to follow that up, Kenneth McCoon says, what night vision are you upgrading to? Right now, we have the Psionics Aurora Sport. which is a color night vision. We used that to film the Brown Mountain Lights, and it did a great job. We got really good footage. Is it okay?
Keep going, yeah.
Are we good? We got like probably the best footage of the Brown Mountain Lights ever recorded with that. However, the Psionics Pro is going to get us miles and miles ahead of that. So we want to upgrade to that. So next time we do something like the Brown Mountain Lights, we get better footage than we got before, because we are always pursuing excellence when it comes to this kind of work. And we are always looking for the next greatest thing when it comes to technology. Chad Staton says, hello, fellow South Kakalakians. We all know to buy milk and bread during a snowstorm. What's the food group protocol for alien invasion? I'm going to say it right now. It's going to be smoked salmon and macaroni and cheese. Put that down right there. Smoked salmon and macaroni and cheese. How's the cam looking?
How's it looking on your end?
It looks fine. We're functioning. Yep. We're gonna be we'll be wearing tinfoil hats on the next episode. My mother called me the other day when the first craft went down and said, "Put your tinfoil hats on." All right, going down through the chat. Shelly Vidal says nobody should be trying to backstab anybody in this research.
There are certain people that we don't even like mention anymore. That just because there's a lot of toxicity in this, and I understand that, and just we're human. We get frustrated with other people just like everybody else does, and sometimes we'll see things that we think are comical. I'm sure people look at us sometimes and just go, "These people are just lunatics, they're idiots." But yeah, there are some people out there that just it's if you say that you're involved with this subject, with like Sasquatch or UFOs or Dogman or whatever. If they say that that's what they're involved with, but then they spend all of their time basically just tearing other people apart, you're not really involved in like Dogman research. You're just an asshole. Okay, so that's excuse my language. So yeah, like I said, it's just that it doesn't have to be like there are people out there that I just think that their theories are just flat out impossible. But you know what? They're genuinely trying to advance the subject, and they're bringing something to it that I myself am incapable of bringing to it. I'm not going to go down that train of thought. So somebody should, because I'm not 100% positive that even she and I disagree on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that it's necessary to get a bunch of different, like a holistic approach, basically a bunch of different people. And then maybe one day we can all look at it and go, holy crap, Gary was right, or Sue had it all right all along. I can't believe it, and then we'll go on to the next mysterious, weird thing to kind of try to research. So, but yeah, like I said, the fact that it's just gotten, you can just look at some people's actions and then just go, there's an agenda behind this. This isn't just disagreeing over a possibility. There's an agenda to kind of try to derail the discussion.
Yeah.
And why is that? Is it just because somebody just needs the attention themselves, or is it because somebody's getting a little too close to the truth and they're trying to derail it off of that? So
Paul M says most channels involving the government angle are purely creepypasta type channels. The government has no interest in cryptids.
I don't know. I don't know if you can say that off the top of your head. I mean, I think that the official government doesn't have any view
the official
in that.
Stance.
The official stance, but the official stance for decades was they didn't have any interest in the UFO phenomenon.
And we're seeing through disclosure that they've been doing work with UFOs for years and years and years.
So, or again, if that's to be believed, but I think that there is. I just think that there's a lot going on that. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I think a lot of times, and I've said it on here before, where we are with the UFO phenomenon right now, with like some of the slow road disclosure, if that's to be believed, we might be in that same position with Sasquatch or Dogman 10 years from now.
Could be, yeah.
Stuff might start coming out going, listen, I'm a whistleblower, the government. And in some of the documents that came out, especially with like the Bigelow Air and Space, they were talking openly that they had government intelligence agents that had been seconded to the program out looking for reports of werewolves and like goblins.
Yeah.
Underground subterranean goblins.
And people like even the New York Times, was the New York Times or
they
the
kind of
Post?
laughed it off.
They mocked that.
Yeah.
They absolutely mocked that. Like,
well, they were mocking UFOs 5 years before though.
Yeah,
so,
why are we wasting money on this? Well, obviously there's some sort of merit to what it is, because
Yeah.
there's plenty of other things that you can throw a pork budget into
Yeah.
without going for the werewolf angle. You know, there's
Yeah.
other stuff that you can earmark stuff for that it's not actually going to anything that's worthwhile. That's going to be maybe laundered money into something else without going for the freaking werewolf angle,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So Richard Cox had something good back to the thing. He goes, I'm a former Army aviator, and most people don't know that our military just failed a mock war exercise against China. We're not prepared. Yeah, that was the other thing, too, is that I was thinking about going for just the price of a balloon, and then maybe these 3 other things are not that expensive to make. They found out where we've been. Time is, yeah.
We're back.
We're back, so.
Yeah, guys, we're going to probably kick out a couple of times. How are you doing on that battery on that thing?
I'm changing it out, but I got to try to troubleshoot this. I just prefer not to do it while we're live, but that's okay. There you go.
Live and in color.
Tell me, are you working?
We're still working. We're good. Yeah, we're trucking along. That's odd. That is very odd. Now is not the time for this to be messing up, but that's okay. We will prosper. We will carry on.
All right.
Where were you?
The chat.
Were you rambling about something? Peter Smallwood says it looks like maybe a bad chip or resistor icon.
Might be. I don't know. We'll see. It
hopefully
I can't by the time I look at it down to the screen, it's gone by the time I get out. So
yeah, I'm hoping it's a we can look at the replay and you can pause it on the icon and see what it is. Hopefully that's a cable issue and not a camera issue, because I don't want to replace that camera.
Yeah.
That'd be a no. Glenn Snyder suggests that you don't buy cheese rinds. Jesse said they bring in Bigfoot. Today is Cocaine Dogman and Cheese Rind Education. All right. Cryptid Response says, best chat on the tubes of you. Yeah, we do. And we're trying to catch up on it. That's why we're kind of being quiet right now. We're both trying to go through this chat and take care of this. You entered the polite zone. Let's see. I'm still catching up. I'm way behind.
Peter Smallwood said, get the Pro, try it in the woods. Yeah, I have been like kind of looking into it. I think that we were able to get the Brown Mountain Lights pretty well with the Sonic Sport. We got that when they first got released. And then we were kind of underwhelmed with its performance. And then we did they released a firmware upgrade, and it was 10 times better. But I think the Pro will help us in case we started to investigate anything like that in the future. The Pro will cut down a lot of the background noise and make us able to get like a much better, more refined image of it. So.
All right, I think I've made it. Cocaine Dogman is a hit tonight. Let's do that. And then my mouse is giving out on me. She's giving up the ghost kids.
Everything's going on us, man. Here.
Yeah, I'm going to blame the chunk of the sun. Chunk of the sun.
Chunk of sun.
Chunk of sun. The government. Keith Van Rensselaer. I worked my way through that one. The government military will never disclose the truth regarding extraterrestrials due to public hysteria. We were discussing this earlier, that it seems like there's not a ton of public hysteria about what's going on right now.
Yeah, I just don't see
there is within our circles, because listen,
not even then, we're more bemused than anything else.
I guess we are. We're not sitting here.
I'm not really sweating, we're not. But I mean, it's just, I just don't know. I think that's what they've trotted out for so long, but I don't think they realize how jaded the American population is now at this point.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, I got home from work today, and you looked at me and went, "Did you have alien invasion on your 2023 bingo card?" And then you stopped and went, everybody probably does, you know, I mean, so.
That's like the free space in the center, I
Yeah,
think.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just strange because, like, you would think that something like that, everybody would be talking about it everywhere you went. Like, I was in several places today, and I didn't overhear anybody talking about anything
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
nobody seems to care. So.
And then, like, you go on Facebook, and I have a lot of normies on my Facebook too. I mean, I have a lot of like normies and stuff like that on my Facebook, and nobody's mentioning anything about it whatsoever.
Everybody's talking about like Super Bowl and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. Susan Compton, one channel I tried to watch does nothing but try to debunk and criticize everyone else's work. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, if you have firsthand knowledge that I guess could maybe bring like a greater understanding of a particular topic and it conflicted with what had currently been accepted, I could see some value in that. But people that just start off their day every day, let me go try to find some stuff to debunk in the cryptid community, you know.
As if there was some kind of detective or something.
Yeah, I mean, you're not, come on, man, you're not, we all see all day, every day, some of just the lamest stuff imaginable on this topic. And we look at it and we go, there's no way that anybody could believe that. That's so obviously made up. And then you go, tons of people believe that. So what are you going to do? You're going to spend all your time debunking that? You're going to debunk that? That crowd is never going to believe it otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And it's so hard to debunk some of this stuff. I mean, debunking to me is that somebody goes, hey, check out this image of Sasquatch that somebody took on a trail cam in Arizona. And then you look at it and you go, that's from a movie. And then you get the movie and you play that scene and you stop it and go, there's the exact same image.
Yeah.
That's incontrovertible. That's debunked, you know. A lot of the debunking that goes on is just not really debunking. It's just somebody expressing a different opinion and then saying how the original. So, I mean, and there's so much of that. I mean, you can have a different opinion and you haven't debunked anything. Mm-hmm. So.
Richard Cox says reports of sightings of Bigfoot and Dogman on military bases has always been kept quiet. I know people that saw things while on active duty and were told to shut up. You know, you would think it'd be more intense when it comes to being a member of the armed services than somebody who gets, you know, is a civilian and they get confronted by A, the men in plaid, or B, the men in black. But you know it's going to be way more intense, that these people are under orders, these people are under hush orders, and they get threatened if they say anything. So there could be all kinds of things going on our military bases, and we would never know anything about it because people in the armed services are kept under such a lock and key. Oh, I was going to tell you that Goshawk sent us a screenshot of the thing that's coming up. I don't know what that is. It doesn't look like a battery. I don't know what it is.
Find out.
We'll find out.
Thank you, Goshawk. So,
Dooster says, did you start early tonight, or am I missing 30 minutes in time? No, we started early tonight. We're going to start doing it at 7:30 because I think sometimes we go a little late and everybody has to work and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So starting at 8, we're starting at 7:30 now. I think we're going to be doing that for going forward, just because it seems like it's a lot better for us to start a little early. Shelley Vidal says about the debunking thing. Explain yourself when you debunk something. Give your reasons 1, 2, 3, why, instead of oh, it just can't be. No, yeah, well, don't believe it. Don't fall for the woo.
We used to spend a certain amount of time on social media just checking out some of the cryptid related pages, just looking to see if there were any reports of like local, like regional activity for hours. And I can't even do that anymore. I'm like rarely on there. People will message me and sometimes it's like 3-4 days before I return their message just because I'm just not on there. And there's just this weird little subset of, you know, there's always that age old argument of like armchair researchers and field researchers. And there are people out there that really don't ever get into the field, but they do such a great job compiling information.
Yeah.
And then sharing that information. They bring a lot of value to this.
You know absolutely.
Not everybody needs to have like, you know, a thermal imager, you know, trudging through the forest at night. The two need to go hand in hand a lot, but now there's like this weird subset of people who are very aggressive in trying to attack other people through their evidence. and they think they're experts because they watch a lot of YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying?
That's a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's not even going, wow, I'm really interested in this. I watch a lot of stuff on it. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos, therefore I'm an expert, and I'm going to tell everybody else about how idiotic they are. So, yeah, and like I said, I think some of that's just human nature, but I think that there's a certain level of directed activity like that.
Yeah.
There's a certain level there's a certain level that goes on that I think has ulterior motives, and the whole idea is just to silence people. And it's weird because sometimes people are willing to kind of deal with that kind of hostility from normal people.
Yeah.
When they come forward with their story, they know that normal people are going to go, you're an idiot for believing in Bigfoot, da 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 da. But then they get that same level of hostility from the community that they were expecting to kind of at least be
from the people that are supposed to be
open to
this
and
thing.
then they get attacked, and I think that shuts a lot of people up.
You had that gentleman that got in touch with us, actually got in touch with Kevin.
Yeah.
That he was laughed out of all these groups because he was describing what he was seeing.
Yeah, and they said
everybody that he tried to talk to about it who was involved in any sort of Sasquatch or in any kind of research, they just shunned him completely.
He said that he was seeing something really skinny that moved weird, like in a jerky pattern, and that it had a deer or an elk skull for a face. And everybody just started screaming that he was culturally appropriating the Wendigo legends and that he was too far south for that. And they kicked him out of all these Facebook groups. And then our friend from Cryptid Response spoke to him, and then it turns out that the things he was seeing, it seems like it was wearing a skull almost as a mask with like broken antlers.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going, I don't know anything about this. I looked online, and that was the closest equivalent that I could find to what I was seeing. He goes, I don't understand why everybody flipped out on me the way that they did. He goes, I was expecting that from like my neighbors, all of that, but I wasn't expecting it from a Facebook group that's dedicated to weird stuff like that. So
Dooster has a good one here. On the way to Dover on Saturday, I noticed a tall chain link fence around the perimeter of Fort Campbell and wondered how many dogmen Bigfoot were roaming amongst the trees. The last time we went to the LBL for an extended period of time, which was last February, correct? A year ago. It was a year ago that we went to the LBL. We decided we always, at the end of our expeditions through the LBL, we have a tradition. We start at the uppermost northern tip of the peninsula, and then we drive the trace all the way down to the south for the last time. We do that every single time we go to the LBL. We drive that whole length of the trace down right before we leave. We say goodbye to the peninsula because we love the LBL so much, and it's such a cool place. We love going. But we do that every single time. Well, when you get to that southern part, you're in Tennessee, you come out at Dover, and then you have to take kind of a back way to get down to where we're headed. You have to go by Fort Campbell. We drove that road. It was that divided highway that goes by Fort Campbell, and we even one of us made a comment about that fence. There's it's got to be like a 10-foot fence around that. But the barbed wire and the razor wire is pointed inward, as if you are trying to keep something in rather than keep someone out. And I know that it is a military base. You want to keep people out of a military base and off of military installations of all kinds. But it was just awful interesting that razor wire was actually pointed inward, as if it was up there intended to keep something in, right?
Yeah. BR Gator had a question. Any more info on your treetop friend? And there's still some debate on what that is. Different people are seeing different things. I was pretty dismissive of it. I thought it was just an artifact until I saw some of the slowed down and like blown up versions of it that people have sent in to us. And we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is at this point. So
we don't even have a theory on this.
Yeah, we're still investigating that area. We'll have some stuff coming out soon about it. It's just you add in that there's a human element that's involved with up there that we're not quite sure how that fits in, and then the weird emails we were getting. So we'll have more stuff coming out on that. It's just we're varying up our approach a little bit.
Yeah, and this is just such an intensely strange, and it's huge. Like it's a huge puzzle, and we're slowly getting the pieces to this puzzle one at a time and putting it together. I don't think we're going to get a full picture at any point in time, but we are getting all these weird little pieces of this puzzle about what's going on in that research area.
Yeah. Susan Compton has something on here. and I don't want it to turn into a whole show of us being hostile to people that we are calling hostile. But she goes, I think the people who are so hostily debunking other people's work are jealous. Like they want to be the trusted source for everything cryptid or weird. We talk about that all the time because we're in a subject where you really can't prove hardly anything. I mean, you really can't prove hardly anything. No matter what sort of like quote unquote evidence you get, there's somebody out there that's going to make a pretty good argument that it's altered or faked somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Patterson Gimlin film that's been out for decades and people are still arguing about that, you know, in you know, the 2020s at this point. So you're in an area, and when you're in a field where you can't prove anything one way or another, it's easy for people to get in and kind of pose themselves as experts as long as they speak authoritatively. We don't know the first thing about hardly anything. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell people that we've got a pretty good grasp on some of the investigative techniques. We can recognize patterns that we see. We are pretty fair hand at some of the equipment. And I think if we're good at any one thing, it's thinking outside the box and taking a novel approach to some of this stuff. Does that mean that we can sit here and definitively tell you what like Sasquatch is? Absolutely not.
I think our approach is mostly, it's sort of an outdoor paranormal guerrilla journalism.
Gorilla as in not monkey gorilla.
Monkey, no,
so, yeah.
gorilla as in like, you know, like
because that would be awesome.
Guerrilla journalism.
If we had trained gorillas.
What if you were a guerrilla journalist? Anyway, that's kind of how I see what we do is because we like to observe and report, not really interpret too much of what we see. We'll post theories from here and there, and we'll call things what we think they are, but you'll never hear us say definitively, this is what we saw. That creature that we actually captured with our GoPro when we were leaving that day, and it went from tree to tree in the, you know, in the treetops. We don't know what that was. You know, we've had a lot of people post theories that is that, oh, it's a juvenile Sasquatch. It's this, it's that. We don't know what it is. So we're not going to definitively say what we think it is at all. I would never pose that. I would never say what I think it is at all, because I honestly don't know. And I think that's why we try to have at least a minute amount of journalistic integrity when it comes to doing this kind of work that we do. So I think that's where we kind of differ from a lot of people, is that we go out there and we observe and report and, you know, bring that to you guys.
And we let our opinions evolve as well.
As we're presented with new evidence and new information, we let our opinions evolve. I think going back to the LBL, that's a huge. We
thought the idea of Dogman was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Flat out ridiculous. The most I was willing to grant it was that it was misidentified Sasquatch sightings. And then we had to evolve it. And, you know, where we were 5 years ago, it's much different than we are right now. And we might be in a much different spot 5 years from today. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't think that the undiscovered ape thing, that Sasquatch is just not another ape that hasn't been, to me, that doesn't, it seems more likely that we're all suffering from some sort of like mass group psychosis and that we're just imagining all this stuff. Than that being true. But I can't rule it out definitively because I can't disprove it. You know what I'm saying? So nothing can be proven or disproven in this. So
here's a nice compliment. We like those. Kevin Murphy says, you guys have the coolest show. Both of you are down to earth and very professional at the same time. Some folks don't get that those two things are not diametrically opposed. And I agree with that. I agree that it's okay to be yourself and be cool and, you know, be cool about things and be honest about things and open to things, but also be professional about it. I think that we do a good job at that because that's who we are in our daily lives.
And we're so humble too.
But very humble.
So
we're smart, good looking, humble. No,
but I think that this is kind of at least the stuff that we approach. It's kind of a grim topic a lot of times.
Yeah, and it is. It is.
Yeah, you want to treat it seriously, but at the same token, though, you've got to have like a little bit of a release valve there. I mean,
well, it's also important that what we do is who we are. I think that if you are donning a mask or you're donning a character, it becomes difficult. It becomes inauthentic, and people can see that. People can smell bullshit from a mile away, you know. And
get like a PG-13 rating on this live stream thing.
Sorry,
person, man. So
all right, Cocaine Dog Man and BS. All right, I'll be quiet. But yeah, people can tell from a mile away that that's inauthentic, and we just don't have time for that. We don't have time to do that. We don't have time for that. So this is how we are. This is how we dress. This is how we behave.
A lot of times though, that fake kind of like over authoritarianism, that just like that, speaking from a position of authority, it's to kind of cover the fact that you don't know the first thing about it.
Yeah,
Nobody knows the first thing about
it's
it. So,
fake it till you make it
you
in the
know?
extreme.
Yeah,
You
so.
know?
All right, let's see. Kind of catching up on the chat here.
I'm going to run to check that.
Hey, and NYC mom, wife, teacher, former FBI agent D'Souza was in charge of the Real X-Files. That's somebody who I didn't really know that much about. He was in the new David Paulides. If that's who I'm thinking of, he was in the new David Paulides documentary. Yeah. And I don't really know that much about him. I don't know anything about his background. I don't know his bona fides. It appears that he's like an FBI guy, but I don't know anything about him at all. It was weird how you can be completely immersed in this subject and all of a sudden somebody mentions it and there's somebody that's been around for years that you've just never ran across. I guess it's because there's so much stuff going on with this topic. So right, going back to Cocaine Dog Man would be a hell of a movie. So E-Rev had asked earlier, have y'all heard or seen or heard about the FLIR camera pointed up at the sky, capturing V-shaped, invisible to the eye object flying? I have not. Is that a recent thing? E-Rev, if you've got a link to it, if you want to post a link in the chat, if that'll let you, or email it to us. But no, I have not seen that. Very weird. Because that's something that's really, ever since we caught that burning light thing in the woods, and we were able to see that it was giving off like a weird heat signature as well. That's one of the things that I've been really interested in, is that like as thermal technology gets out into more hands and as it gets more, advanced, just the consumer grade stuff that people have, what you're going to start seeing people come across that maybe they haven't seen before. So no, I'm not familiar with that. Or that image that we shared last week, that black outline that I was able to pick up at the LBL that wasn't giving off heat, but it was a humanoid figure that was much, much colder than its surroundings, that I couldn't see anything with the naked eye.
What did somebody say? It looked like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, it looks, I see, and the fact that it was coming out from behind a tree, then going back, that was almost like classic tree peeking behavior, but it was cold. It was a cold figure. The head looks a little conical, but the shoulders look a little sloped. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. So
Take Two Wheels has a good one here. Hey, Jesse, I found out our 1800s cabin was from the LBL area. So background here, Take Two Wheels is restoring and rebuilding a old cabin. Continuing on here, was from the LBL area before the TVA dammed the river, and it was rebuilt at our previous location in the 1930s. Unusual activity connected to that. I'm not the person to ask that right now. I think the best resource on that would be Dewey Edwards.
Yeah, reach out to Dewey.
Yeah, reach out to Dewey, and because he is our resident historian on that area, and he could probably shoot you in the right direction and let you know if there's anything there.
Clint Snyder had a thing saying, could it be that something huge is about to happen and the government is trying to soften the blow to keep control? That might be. I mean, you never know. Again, I was just struck at the fact that how panicked the Canadian defense minister. And again, I think this is probably the first time I've seen the Canadian defense minister. So maybe she always looks like that.
Yeah.
But it just looked like she was just ready to run screaming off the camera. And I'm going, tell us that everything's okay here, man. Don't you're not projecting a very confident aura here.
I don't think there was a lot of confidence in that aura.
Yeah, I don't think there was any confidence in that aura at all.
Tanner Davis says, when in the LBL did you feel watched before you noticed the signs of what was around? As soon as you get into the LBL, there's a weird feeling.
But that might be psychosomatic because you're so jazzed up from all the stories. That feeling of being watched, sometimes we're really critical of that. I mean, we pay attention to it. We don't dismiss it. But at the same token, we're specifically going out looking for weird stuff. So we have to keep that in mind, that we're geared up to experience weird stuff.
And we also have it in the back of our mind, all the things that we've heard, from Martin's story to the story about the 1982 massacre, to the ongoing activity and ongoing disappearances and murders that are occurring in the LBL. So you got that in the back of your mind too. So you're always kind of on edge when you're there anyway, because you know that history.
But there are areas that you get that feeling much more prevalent than other areas.
Yes.
So there are areas where you feel that you've got eyes boring into the back of your head through there, that you don't quite get that in other areas. There's a lot of areas in the LBL. There in the area that we go to in North Georgia, if you go a few miles away, it just feels like it's just a relaxing spot. It's not bad. We were in this spot in really thick fog, and it was so thick that our white flashlights would bounce back off it and blind us. So we were using red flashlights because it seemed like they penetrated the fog a little bit better, but it gave it a really like eerie, unearthly kind of vibe. It was weird, but it was so relaxing. It was just so peaceful. We were having a very relaxing, good time in the woods. And that's usually not what we're dealing with. But then you go a few miles away and you just feel like there's just something behind every bush. So that feeling is real, but the LBL has just got a different vibe to it, man. It's got a different vibe that it's just the LBL is, and we're not the only people that say that. The LBL's got a lot of weirdness going on.
Oh, the demon got out.
The demon got out. Okay.
Do you want to go?
Nah, just leave her. So
we had our cat locked away, and I just accidentally.
She's acting weird today.
She's been acting very weird. She went kind of crazy earlier, and we were like, okay, we have to do our show, so we locked her.
Camera's going crazy, cat's going crazy.
We locked her in the back bedroom, and I accidentally just let her out. So it's free and wild and yelling.
Yeah.
So.
E-Rev says, I used to think Dogman was fake, like some stories, kind of believed in Bigfoot. Now I'm full blown. There's critters out there. I was fully open to the idea that Sasquatch was, because I saw something when I was a kid, but I don't know. I could have been somebody messing with me. I don't know. But I was fully believed in the existence of Sasquatch. And then I used to think it was just an undiscovered ape. And then if you stop putting your own filter on stuff and you just kind of follow where the evidence takes you, you start to realize that seems to be an impossibility. And then I was like, it's a relic hominid. And then you're like, man, that doesn't explain a lot of this stuff. I mean, but at the same token, the idea of Dogman was just a little bit too much of a stretch for me.
Yeah.
And
that was a bridge too far.
Yeah.
For us,
and then all of a sudden, then you're going, yeah, there's something out there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the origin of it is, or where it comes from, or where it goes, or what it's doing here. But
what does it want? What is it capable of? You just don't know.
We've got an idea of what it's capable
of.
The
closest thing we got to anything is getting that thermal image and whatever information we've collected or evidence we've collected. That's about it. But we can't draw any conclusions from any of that at this point. Deuster said, we took the trace at LBL from one end to the other, noticed that the no firearms allowed signs have been removed.
Really?
Well, noted. Scott Yeager, I'll go ahead and get on this. Joe and Jesse, I'm a bit late to the party tonight, but I'm curious to see what folks think about the balloon talk as of late. These objects being shot down, smack of Roswell 2.0. Scott, I'm going to suggest that after we get done with the show tonight, that you go back and watch from the beginning, because we really go hard on the that earlier on in the show.
But I agree with you 100%. We are watching the genesis of a new chapter, regardless of what it is, even if they are just mundane. You know what? They could be a prank that somebody's playing. They could be a bunch of like college physics students have just done this to kind of prank people. You're still watching 50 years from now, because of the way the government's handled it, you're watching the genesis of a new UFO legend happen right now. This is Roswell 2.0 pretty much. So
just the inept scrambling that is going on is very strange. And I think that that's really got a lot of people's, attention right now. Going through the chat here. Oh, guys, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. We really appreciate you guys joining us tonight for our Hellbent Holler live.
And everybody who's been kind enough to donate something to us from the channel, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
we don't ask for it, but if you choose, we'll put it towards equipment. Hopefully we're not putting it towards a new camera to live stream.
Hopefully this camera is okay.
Hopefully this camera is okay.
I'd like to buy something.
Yeah.
other than a camera for this.
Yeah, I'd like to upgrade our night vision.
And if you were any of our giveaway winners from last week, all of that was put in the mail. So I mailed a bunch of packages today. So there are pint glasses, stickers, and t-shirts going out across the United States today and headed to your happy little mailboxes.
Richard Cox dropped a little nugget here. I was a criminal investigator, and a DEA friend said that their video footage of grow fields had to be scrubbed due to catching skunk apes while on the Georgia-Florida line. That's cool. You know what? That's cool. I mean, you hear about that like local level law enforcement have encounters with them in the course of the line of duty and all that, and they're told to be quiet and everything. But a lot of that video footage, the DEA's got some really good camera equipment.
Yeah,
they get it. The war on drugs gets a lot of money. That's really interesting. So, very cool.
Susan Compton says there's a guy on YouTube, Joey Franco, that has a lot of vids of objects in the sky not visible to the naked eye, but he is seeing them through IR camera. It is crazy. We would not have gotten the footage of the Brown Mountain Lights that we got if we did not have our full color night vision camera going. I mean, that was the thing that sent us over the edge. That was the great equalizer for us on that. We could see the lights with our naked eye. They couldn't
catch them with a video camera.
Couldn't catch them with a video camera. We got a couple of them when I was doing the live stream there. Got a couple of them, but it was only the brightest of the bright. And we could see some of them with our naked eye. But that camera just captures them so well. And it was such a bright night too, because it was a full moon. So you have a lot of light interference from that as well. But that camera still just grabbed those and you could really see them. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more stuff in the skies. It's just that we have not had the widely available technology at this point for everybody to kind of see it. So I think that's going to be kind of the great, like I said, the great equalizer.
Well, people will be like, how are you guys able to capture some of the stuff and other people aren't? And I'm going, I don't think there's anything special about us in the slightest, other than the fact that we're out there pretty often with equipment to kind of capture that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not walking around like trying to film off our cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
We're not walking around in a huge party of like 20 people that are more interested in talking with each other than observing what's around them. We're out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Most nights we don't have anything happen at all. But a lot of times when we go out, and even going out prepared like we are, we still have stuff happens that we can't capture, that happens too quickly, or it happens, a lot of times it feels like we're chasing the phenomenon with with technology. Something will happen and we'll go, if we had this, we could have caught it. So I think that's it. I think that we're going out prepared to catch it, and we're seriously going out and like looking for it. We're not going on a paid expedition with 50 other people and hanging out in like a KOA campground. And then we're just walking the perimeter, hitting trees with bats, doing whoops, we're going out, and I don't think we're outsmarting anything. You know what I'm saying? I think if anything, we're making stuff curious, or stuff is happening that happens thinking that we can't observe it or can't capture it. So
when you say you feel like we're making things curious, you and I returned to that area where we got the portal thing, where we've seen the occult activity, where we've caught strange eyes, we've caught all kinds of strange lights going through the woods. We've gotten all kinds of stuff there. We have been going there consistently for years at this point. So do you think that there's a level of familiarity that the phenomenon or whatever this is maybe has with us?
There's two trains of thought on that. People will say that the more you investigate this stuff, the more you experience, that the phenomena kind of latches onto you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's that, or do you just become more open to it and you're willing to kind of admit to yourself that's, because a lot of people have these weird filters up. A lot of people will go, well, I've been in the woods and nothing's ever happened. And I'm going, it's because you're not willing to admit that anything happened. You're going to explain away anything that happens to you, no matter what leap of logic you have to make.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter what happens to you, you're going to explain it away because you're not willing to admit that there's anything else out there, and you're not willing to expand your worldview at all. So maybe you become more open to it, or maybe it becomes more
comfortable with you.
Not comfortable, but more, I don't know. Like maybe it you become more visible to it. Again, you're dealing with like unknowns in this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all of this stuff is unknown, and any like hypothesis that you kind of form for it, it's just that it's a hypothesis. You're not really able to.
So you got one from Barton there?
Yeah, Barton had put down, Barton's got a lot of cool stuff going on with the LBL that you'll be seeing in the upcoming weeks, hopefully. If you're not subscribed to his channel and Humanoids with Barton Unley, you might want to go over there because he's got some really cool stuff. Yeah, we're kind of being mysterious about it, but it's some pretty neat stuff that's coming up. So
Stingray 1975, thank you, sir, for the upgrade fund.
Hey, that might be going to the camera fund to keep us live streaming. So yeah, we'll see.
I hope that goes towards the Simonix Pro. Hopefully we'll figure that camera issue out.
Oxkira, you guys should do a stream with the FLIR just for fun. I was actually experimenting with how to stream with night vision, but the only thing is that the information that's on the camera screen comes through the stream on that. So you see like the battery level. It's a very busy kind of screen, and there's actually a icon in the center of the screen. That's the only way to really do it, to live stream with that. And most night vision cameras, you can't live stream through at all. The FLIR, I don't know if there's a way to do it with.
I wouldn't do it with the FLIR anyway. The Scout TK is not a great thermal.
But I mean the Pulsar you might be able to. It's just that I don't know how it would. Probably the best way to do it is going to be to stream to a secondary device like a tablet and then show you what's on the tablet.
So that's what we've been kind of talking about, because we have a plan for a live stream coming up that you guys are going to go nuts for. Like, you guys are going to lose your minds over. It's something we've been toying with the idea about for a while now, but we're going to do this. We're planning on doing, if everything shakes out with it. And what we're going to try to do with that is incorporate the thermal into that live stream by having our tablet connected to one of our thermals. We'll either do it with the AGM or we'll do it with the Pulsar, but we're going to connect that to our tablet, and then we'll be able to just film the tablet instead of, if you guys watched the Brown Mountain Lights live stream that we did, I was holding the camera up to the lens of my phone while I'm trying to live stream, and that was not great. It kind of got the job done-ish. It was good in a pinch, but definitely not ideal. So we're going to bring the tablet with us for the next, like, on the ground in the woods live stream that we're going to do coming up. So we'll use that, and hopefully you guys can actually see what we're seeing with the thermal.
Because at the end of the day too, we caught a lot of grief after that Brown Mountain Lights thing. People were just not happy with the footage we were able to share or how we tried to go about sharing it. We have to keep reminding everybody, it's in a TV show you're watching. There's just two of us. We don't have a camera crew. We don't have assistants. We don't have anybody else other than the two of us. And we're trying to film it while we actually research it. So, you know, you get down to it where you talk about how there's just not a lot of people out doing this. I see why, because it's a pain in the neck a lot of times. But
it is funny. It is funny watching that Brown Mountain Lights, those live streams that we did that night, because we're just so frustrated and freezing, and you can really see kind of how a real investigation with us is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's very frustrating. You're juggling equipment constantly. But
when she puts out videos from like our investigations, she cuts all that stuff out, you know, because I mean, literally that's what's going on is we're digging for equipment and we've got the wrong piece out and something happens. We've got a thermal, but now we need a night vision binocular out. So we've got to dig that out. I mean, that's the kind of how the sausage is made that usually gets, you know, edited out of like the videos that she releases.
And then we'll get passive aggressive with each other and
start arguing. So Spook Trader Bob says Business Insider Report 21323. NORAD commander says NORAD changed radar filters and can now see smaller and slower craft, seeing things they previously did not know were there. That's one of the things I'm thinking of, is that this Chinese spy balloon came in and it embarrassed them that they didn't catch it. So now they've changed their radar filters looking for more balloons, but now they're finding other things that aren't balloons that have maybe been here for a while. We just weren't able to detect them. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, or it's gonna be interesting to see if this story just fades away. We don't hear anything else about it.
That is going to be interesting to see. I'm going to go down to the end here.
William Kennedy is in here. Hello, William.
Hello, William Kennedy.
Hope you and the dogs are doing well.
We've definitely opened a lot of stuff, William Kennedy.
Yeah, it's been all over the
We have
place.
opened a lot of stuff, and we have weighted down many a paper.
Yeah,
So, Dead End Yard Hunt, thank you for that. That
The
goes into
donkey
the donkey
fund.
fund. We got a lot of funds going right
Eventually,
now.
people are going to need like a crib sheet, like notes to keep track of all this stuff. We've got Cocaine Dog Man added to it now.
Yeah.
Um,
We passed by a donkey farm the other day, and I almost hit the brakes because I was like, you know what? Right there, here's our donkey.
boy, if we trotted a donkey out on this live stream, people would flip their lids.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We could always hook a little cart up to the cat and see what she can haul.
Yeah, exactly. So,
following up with that, Richard Cox, thank you for that, sir. I really appreciate that. That is awesome. We're gonna hit that damn night vision at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So,
hopefully that camera just needs like a cable.
We'll see.
I'm hoping.
Hopefully that doesn't need replaced. So, because
cable
that'll be a
issue.
priority over everything else.
Yeah.
So, I'll troubleshoot it when we get done with this. So, yeah, it's Sam Burton said, I can't believe people would give you guff for anything you filmed. It's just because most of the time when you see people out actively investigating this sort of stuff in the field, you're seeing an end product produced like network television show. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That had like an entire crew and a budget and everything like that. We're just a couple of morons with camera equipment who.
Well, let's speak for yourself when you go with the moron.
So, but who go out and do this stuff. So, that's why we can't. It takes a while for us to release like field investigation videos because something has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone months before that anything happening at all, and that's why that's why we started doing like live streams and podcasts to kind of fill that dead space, because otherwise we would just be releasing videos every week of us just walking through the woods with nothing happening. And it's just not entertaining after a while. It's frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
But that's what people are used to seeing. They're not used to seeing two people arguing with each other and trying to juggle equipment, and they can't quite make it work. And that's, especially with the live stream, that's what happens. Because again, there's just, I mean, that night at Brown Mountain, I mean, we're in an overlook that's not very steady. It's a straight drop down. Some of us are less risk averse than others. So I'm trying to film and make sure she doesn't get too close to the edge. And then you're trying to not become totally focused on the camera that you're using and not lose track of where you are on this overlook. And it's cold, and it's just, we were dealing with battery drain, but I don't think there was anything like supernatural with that. I just think it was like really cold and it was having an effect on the batteries. So, and that too, we weren't prepared for the level of what we were getting. We were expecting to see just a few momentary flashes, maybe in the woods. I mean, we were running out of memory space on the psionics that we have. That's one of the reasons we need to upgrade, is that the one we were using only takes like a 32 gigabyte SD card. It can't read anything higher. And we were about at 98% when these things finally went away. If they had continued, we would have not been able to film them anymore, just because. So it's that little kind of real world stuff that people seem to.
The logistics get in the way every time.
The logistics get very much in the way.
Yeah.
So, and I guess people are not used to seeing the difficulties of it. They're just used to seeing the final product of it. So.
Yeah. Susan Compton said, we love the Brown Mountain Lights live. It was so cool. Thank you for taking us with you. Well, when we do another in the field live, you guys are gonna, it's gonna blow Brown Mountain away. It's gonna be great. Peter Spallwood says Brown Mountain was gold. I think also my like real-time reaction to a lot of that was pretty good. But yeah, that's how I am when I see stuff like that. I'm just like so stoked about it, because it was absolutely just wild to see that like in person and just see it happening before my eyes, something that you've heard about for years and years and years and years. And I go, and we didn't expect anything to happen.
If we saw anything, I mean, because if you look at the Brown Mountain Lights online that people have caught, it's kind of underwhelming. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, compared to like running around the LBL looking for Dogman, kind of hanging out on the side of a mountain, just waiting to see a couple of weird lights that may or may not be natural. We were kind of doing it to do it because it's close by to us. We've never done it before. And then we got there and saw those things in the sky. And yeah, it was cool, man. It exceeded what we were expecting to see that night by a pretty wide margin. So
yeah. It's like, oh my God, there's a light. Okay, let's get going. Let's get started.
Chad also said, I don't even try to record stuff anymore. So frustrating, never looks or sounds like being there in person. We have that problem all the time because we'll hear things, especially at night when we're recording off the Phasm action cam. What's an action cam? With a small microphone. And it drives people crazy because we'll go, shh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I'm so tired of hearing people say, did you hear that? Well, I mean, I just heard something. I'm not sure whether she heard it or not. I'm not sure what else to say. But then you can't pick it up. We can catch it barely on the edge of our hearing, but then you can't pick it up on that microphone. So we're constantly experimenting with like different digital recorders to try to like capture that. But that's why it's good to have a variety of cameras, though. The full spectrum camera picks up some of the weird lights that we've seen up close that didn't seem to show up on normal night vision.
Yeah.
And then, but the Phasm's too short distance. So we would not have been able to catch the Brown Mountain Lights with those. Luckily, we had that Psionics in the bag.
We were running the Phasm at the Brown Mountain Lights, and I was running it. I couldn't see them. I couldn't see them, like, I don't think at all.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that footage, but I don't think I could see them at all. But then that Psionics, that was just such a, what a right place, right time, right gear, right people kind of thing. You know, it just, that was so wild. I still need to release all that footage to you guys. It's just been a very busy couple of weeks around
Sam Bird
here.
said he loves the arguments. I'm assuming you mean the arguments between me and her, and that's pretty,
Based on our, if you believe in astrology, we love the arguments too. I'm a Sagittarius and he's an Aries, so all we do is argue with each other.
Tanner Davis says we need a tactical donk. There we go. So
a tactical badonk.
Pretty Baker says I think the lights was awesome. Strange. Yeah, it's much better than what we were expecting. I wasn't expecting to get anything like that. Was not expecting to get anything like that at all. Kevin Whip says we need to open our vibes and wavelength. I think our vibes are pretty open. I think we're pretty much open to a lot of stuff right now.
Open your vibes, brother.
Open your vibes. So
my vibes are open.
Oxkira, I watch a lot of exploring abandoned mines, and these guys go to some extremely remote locations. Ask them if they see stuff. Yeah, that's one of the things. We don't do a lot of stuff underground. That's a whole nother level of risk that, quite honestly, I don't have the training for, and neither does she. We'll go into like caves and stuff like that occasionally, but not
tight areas.
Not real tight areas, not like actual like spelunking or anything like that.
I'm never doing that. So
Brian Wick, Ozzy Baza. Great to see you guys again. Knife check. Actually, I have mine out of my pocket. I've been fidgeting with it.
I've been playing with mine this entire time.
Cold Steel Espadas. I'm not Espada. Cold Steel Voyager Vaqueros tonight.
Well, you've got the big one.
I got the big XL version.
I have a little vintage one. I have the little Voyager Vaquero.
And I don't know if our buddy Sean,
the wee one,
Sean Blevins is watching tonight, but Sean actually sent this to me a couple of years ago. I was trying to find, this is a limited edition version of it, and I couldn't find one for sale anywhere. And Sean's like, I've got one. And I'm like, cool. How much do you want for it? And they just dropped it in the mail for me. It's Sean Blevins is one of the
good people.
One of the best people, out there.
Richard Cox says, wonder what would happen if you shine a powerful light towards those lights.
We did that, and they went away.
Yeah, we did that. We tried to signal them.
When I just shine the light at them, nothing happened. And you see it in there. I'm just kind of shining it towards them, waving it. When I signaled them 3 times, and I even say on camera, don't I go, I'm signaling now, 1, 2, 3. They winked out, and then they came back on, and then I did the same thing again, and they went away, and they never came back. And someone who lives in that area told us they had the exact same experience with that, trying to signal them with lights, and then the lights went away and never came back. So one of the things we want to try is when we go back up there, I want to try to signal, but I want to try to signal with different forms of light. I want to try to shoot like infrared at them, and then maybe even try to shoot ultraviolet at them. Not any like visible white light at all, but try like different wavelengths of light to see if that has the same effect or if we get a different effect at that point. So, so a little thing we're going to try up there. My plan is to we've got several like infrared illuminators that we use for our night vision cameras, is to basically just get them all together like in one big thing, and then try to turn them all on simultaneously. So
Kevin Whip. So he was the guy that told us to open our vibes and stuff. Okay. And be at a state of blankness in your head, no thought or process. Okay. If you have watched more than 5 minutes of any live stream we have ever done, do you think either of us can stop with our processes in our head?
Yes.
No. Oh, that's gets out the window, friend.
Spectator Bob's talking about it takes special outdoor audio gear, which is expensive, heavy, and bulky. Then you have to synchronize it in video production. And I hear that is daunting. Good audio is very difficult to capture. Stationary audio is not difficult to do. We do that all the time with drop recorders. That's how we caught those weird growls in North Georgia. Sometimes filtering out the background noise, you can do it, but then you run the risk of people telling you that you've altered the sound you're trying to present.
Mm-hmm.
Audio on the go is difficult.
For our GoPros, we just got the Media Mod, which has helped with some of the audio.
Yeah, that's got a built-in microphone that'll enhance the
but
GoPro audio.
There's no option for that for our Phasm, which is the camera we use at night. There's no option for that.
But we've experimented with trying to put like digital audio recorders like on our packs, hanging off of us and everything like that. A lot of times you just catch the sound of like our movement and like the fabric and all of that. We've got a really nice, small but portable parabolic dish, but that's stationary. You can kind of use that when you're on the go, but that sound is so focused. When I see people out at like on some of these videos and they're just kind of waving it around, it's almost something you need to use from a tripod to really, especially using it at a distance to hone in on that sound. And that's obviously good if you're working stationary, but we're on the move a lot of times. So anyway, but yeah, it's very difficult. Actually, the syncing part's not that difficult, is it?
No.
Syncing it up,
I use Adobe Premiere Pro when I edit videos, and so it's pretty easy to sync the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you do your like slate thing, you can sync the audio without trouble usually.
Dun, dun, dun. People talking about bringing some goats into the LBL.
Okay. So. I swear this show jumps the shark.
Yeah.
Like
every day.
Every day it jumps the shark. So now we have a team of goats that we're dragging into the LBL. The donkey, the goats. We're gonna have Jesus in a manger by the time this is all done. So oh gosh.
There was a comment in the
I'll bring
chat.
it up. Richard
Yeah, Richard Cox.
Richard Cox.
My encounter was near Amicalola Falls. Have you guys been into that area? We have not been into that area, have we?
Where is that?
That's near Dawsonville, Georgia.
Pull that up.
I'm pulling it up right now, Richard, to see if that's.
Highway 52 sounds familiar.
Back it off. Zip lining that goes on there. You guys kind of bear with us for a second.
Back it off.
I am.
Back it off.
None of this.
I
familiar.
don't think so.
No, sir. I don't think we have.
No, because there's
no. We have not been into that area. That's actually south. It's Chattahoochee, Oconee. We have not. If you'd like to share your encounter with us, Richard.
The forest up there above that is where they do the mountain phase of Ranger School.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been like a lot of people who have had experiences doing that phase of Ranger School. Richard, in that forest.
Richard, I just put our email on there. If you want to share anything about your encounter, especially being in this neck of the woods, I'd like to.
We can make our way down there.
Sam Burton offering us some goats. I have some goats. So every week we get offered livestock. That's the new thing. We get donkeys. We ought to just wrap this all up and just start a farm.
Oh, Hellbent Homestead.
Yeah, Stingray 1975. If you guys had a crew and we're all slick, the videos wouldn't be as good. Although I do think Jesse's final product is pretty slick. It's
getting better.
It's just the way we get there is not very slick. It's just whatever we can fit in our packs. And I mean, like I said, we'll hear that sometimes. People will go, you need to take 400 game cams and cover the woods with them. And I'm going, A, I don't have 400 game cams. I've got like 5, B, even if I did have 400 game cams, it's just gonna be you and me with just backpacks full of game cams putting this out there,
a wheelbarrow full of game cams.
So I mean, unfortunately it is. It's anything you guys see, generally it's whatever we had on our backs at that time. It's whatever we were carrying that we were able to take out to try to catch stuff with. So
400
of course cams. Shelley Vidal is saying they have pack goats too, so maybe the goats could help
we can make that
help our equipment.
Dead in Yard Hunt is offering us kittens. We definitely don't want those.
Jonathan Garcia, when on your investigations have you tried using EMF meters when the strange and unusual start happening? Yeah, we use regular EMF meters. We use tri-field meters. We have 2 different calibrated RF, like signal detectors, like spectrum analyzers, Geiger counters.
We even have a Kestrel drop, which tests
environmental conditions, like barometric pressure, temperature,
humidity,
everything like that.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I mean, we've gotten some really weird readings out in the middle of nowhere before that it's one thing if you always catch weird readings in a particular area, maybe they're not so weird, but when everything's reading fine and then weird stuff starts to happen and then you start getting elevated readings on your instrumentation and then those readings go away when the weird activity stops, and there's something, they're hand in hand. The only problem is deploying it all. I just listed off like 7 or 8 different pieces of instrumentation. We can maybe deploy 2 at a time and stay mobile. Mm-hmm. One of us can use like a Geiger counter and the other one use like a tri-field. I did just get us recently, we stole something off the Skinwalker Ranch show, actually. They're using lightning detectors to look for anomalous, releases of electricity, because their lightning detectors will go off, but they don't have any lightning happen. So we recently got one of those we're going to experiment with to see and that's something that we can actually clip on us and just keep running at that point.
Yeah. So, and actually, speaking of which, that kind of reminded me of something that we forgot to talk about. So Saturday, I mentioned before, we went to Charlotte on Saturday because I needed to get something from the 511 store. So we went up there and we got home kind of late and we were loading stuff out of the car. And I was in the house and Joe was outside and I heard like a rumble outside. And of course, it's lightly raining, but we've not had any lightning or thunder at this point during the entire like light rainstorm. I heard this continuous rumble outside. I run out on the porch and Joe's standing out there looking around. And I was like, what is that? It's continuously rumbling. And it went on for a solid minute, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it went on
at least a minute.
For a
I was
long
outside,
time.
It was raining, but I had to run some trash out real quick. And there's this flash of light. Like I thought there was like a really close lightning strike at first because it was like everything went bright white. And then I like stop and look around, and then this rumble starts up, and I thought it was thunder, and it didn't stop.
But it had no like. It was like it was a solid like.
So this is happening after all this stuff's getting shot down. So Jesse's like, is this some like War of the Worlds type stuff? And so that happened. We kept talking about it all night long, and then I was on like a pretty big message board that's like worldwide, and somebody just happened to randomly post that they were in South Carolina and they'd experienced the same thing. And I guess they're within like 20 miles of us. And everybody started chiming in on this board, like from South Carolina, going, yeah, this happened. I guess they mentioned it on the news the next day. Like the meteorologist mentioned it and they weren't sure what had happened. But if it was a lightning strike, it was a lightning strike that people saw within like a 50-mile radius. Because like people were reporting it all over the upstate. And then the rumbling, just like I said, it went on for like a solid minute and it didn't quite sound like thunder, but it's enough that other people in this region are starting to kind of go, what was that? Yeah, that's not right.
It wasn't normal. It was definitely not normal.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
No one, did I?
No, go ahead. So,
no one knows says you guys do great. Honestly, that's why as a skeptic, I return time and time again. And we appreciate people who are skeptics being a part of this, Yeah,
as long as you're like respect, that's fine. I mean, I am skeptical about a lot of this stuff myself. Yeah, but I don't dismiss it. I'm skeptical.
And we try to poke holes and stuff that we find and experience ourselves too. I think that's healthy to do. I'm going to go ahead and have that. You go to what you want to do.
Stingray 1975 says we need a cocaine mule. He can carry everything
in his butt.
So then Henry White Jr. asked, how many mags do you carry? A few. We probably carry more ammunition than probably a lot of people think that we carry with us. We just don't usually really display it a lot. We've got some of it accessible, but we carry quite a bit of ammunition with us. So
Tanner Davis says, I feel like the folks that have a huge production crew see less things and feel less credible to me. Yeah, if you have a ton of people out with you in the woods, I feel like you're not going to experience what you would if it's just the two of you. Like it's just the two of us out there. There's nobody else. We're all alone, just the two of us in the middle of nowhere doing this with, it's just us, our packs, and we're out in the woods. If you have lighting people, sound people, production assistants, you've got a producer
standing over there on a cell phone talking to, it's just going to,
you've got somebody following you around with a snacks, it's just not going to be the same thing.
Grace W said the chunk of the sun hit the Carolinas. So
great. Chunk of sun coming at us again.
All righty. I think I'm caught up with the chat.
Richard Cox says there was a small earthquake in North Georgia several days ago. I need to look into that because
Richard Cox, you are a wellspring of information.
You are.
Sir. Thank you.
I have a weird, not a weird theory. This is actually, I've heard other people say this after, not after I've talked about it, but other people have talked about this too. That I think that when there's like geological events, that seems like there's some sort of tear in between dimensions when there's huge geological events. For example, you have the lizard man in Skateboard Swamp. That area is prone to earthquakes, and then you have like this lizard man emerging, and then you have areas that have high geological activity like mountain ranges and stuff like that, where you have all of these missing 411 cases happening. So I don't know if maybe some sort of large geological disturbance actually kind of tears a hole or thins the veil a little bit.
Yeah, but that was weird. That was definitely a weird type thing. People talking about earthquakes out there. Take Two Wheels is saying the Pentagon's now saying the UFO shot over Canada was a small metallic balloon, but the pilots said different. The spokespeople said different. And I think that's the thing, is we're watching Roswell 2.0 happen as the story changes, as the story kind of evolves with this and changes over time. I think we're going to all walk away going, another Roswell might have just happened. Because the pilots were saying that they couldn't figure out how it was staying aloft. They were saying that it wasn't a balloon. They were saying that it was messing with their instrumentation, all sorts of stuff like that. So anyway.
And no one goes, don't forget hair and makeup. Yes, I know what you were referring to. I do wear makeup when I go out, but I don't think I've ever gone out without a little makeup on. And I even have like a little kit. I have a little kit when we camp out that has a tiny liquid eyeliner in it, because I have to do my little liquid eyeliner. So I do that, even though I know I'm camping out in the woods. It's silly, but it is who I am.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up in a few minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, this was an out of the ordinary show. Obviously, we were a lot more lighthearted than we were, but it's been a crazy news cycle week, and we just wanted to address the UFO war, whatever you want to call it. So
Rick does Shotokan says this week on The Story Changes. Yeah.
We appreciate everybody that contributed to the efforts here. Like I said, if I can get our camera working here, fine. Our next thing will be to kind of establish a better night vision protocol for us to use, to have some better equipment for it that has some better recording capacity. And then the overall goal would be to eventually get up into the area of the Brown Mountain Lights and try to do some additional footage, and then maybe try to get close to the source of those lights to see if we can.
That would be the ultimate goal.
See if that is something that's doable there. So,
and I think you and I can do it. I think that we're more than capable of doing that.
Yeah.
So I think we're capable of doing that. And if, a little bit of logistics there, but I think we could absolutely accomplish that goal.
Yeah.
A little bit of housekeeping here.
Okay.
So I wanted to remind you guys, if you haven't already looked, we are part sponsors of Monster Fest, which is put on by Small Town Monsters. That will be June the 3rd in Canton, Ohio at the Doubletree. So we will have a table there, and we are going to have Dewey of I'm sorry, I called you Dewey. Dooster. We'll have the Dooster there. We'll also have Martin Groves there. They'll both have some books. If you guys want to come and chat with us, chat with them. But we are sponsoring that event, so we'll have a big table there. So we're just going to basically be hanging out.
Yeah, we don't have anything to sell. I mean, we're not really vendors of anything. We don't really sell anything. So we're just going to kind of be there.
It's a Hellbent hangout.
The breeze with people. So yeah.
So it'll be a Hellbent hangout. If you guys want to come out to that, that's June 3rd. If you want to make plans for that, that's going to be fun. Stan Gordon is speaking at that event. But that's going to be a good time. We're going to really enjoy doing that. And then in October, we are going to be at the Tennessee Wild Man and Cryptid Con, and I'll be sharing the stage with the one and only Ron Moorhead.
You're not ever really going to see us do a lot of these, just because we don't really have time for a lot of this stuff.
But as soon as I heard Ron Moorhead,
we were like, yeah, we'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, absolutely. I love Ron Moorhead.
Bigfoot's has been pretty influential to us, at least opening up a new line of thinking as far as this stuff goes. So we're going to be, so you won't see us doing a lot of those, but we'll be doing a couple this year.
So
you'll never really be seeing us do one a week or anything like that. That's not in the time schedule. So
So did you want to do this one?
Richard Cox had said if pilots couldn't get a radar lock and the object gave off no heat, how did an AIM-9 work? AIM-9's heat-seeking missile, basically, to oversimplify it. Richard, I don't know. I know that they said their instrumentation was messing up, but I didn't hear that they couldn't get a radar lock, and I didn't hear anything about the thing not giving off heat. I know that it didn't have a visible means of propulsion, which is one of the 5 observables that Luis Elizondo always talks about, but I don't know. I have to look that up. You might be you might be right. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Hey, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm sorry about all of the equipment issues. Jesse's the creative one. I'm the one that kind of handles the nuts and bolts stuff like that. So I'm gonna. That's my failure. I guess I'll try to troubleshoot this when we get off here. But
Yeah,
thanks for sticking with us through all of that. Hopefully, we'll have that ironed out.
Yeah,
By the time we start doing this again.
I gotta tell you, it's been a while since we've done a super heavy. I don't think we've ever done a super heavy UFO thing, but we, when in Rome, we really had to hit that because this has been some of the craziest stuff I have ever seen, and the fact that it's all over the news and it's not really being addressed by our government or anything like that has been pretty wild.
Pretty weird stuff.
So I really hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We have a busy week ahead of us, and we'll definitely be seeing you guys next Monday for the live stream. So keep an eye out for that. We should be doing it at 7:30 from now on because everybody likes to do that earlier.
Everybody gets off a little earlier. Yeah. If we start hearing people say it's too early, we might reassess it.
Yeah, for sure. But we really appreciate you guys joining us. Before you head out the door, make sure you hit that like button, please. That helps us in the algorithm. We always touch on some pretty wild subjects, and sometimes we get thrown into the sin bin because we say the wrong thing.
We got a little profanity on the show, so hopefully that won't.
I think we'll be okay.
I think we'll be.
You can have light profanity, but we do touch on subjects that can be taboo at times. So make sure you guys hit that like button, and then after the stream, if you guys comment below, that'll help get us into the algorithm. And again, if you were one of our winners for our big giveaway, we had a few winners for that. You have a package en route. So keep an eye on your mailbox. I do have tracking numbers for those if you guys want those. You can always email me if you want your tracking number, or I can get in touch with you. But they should be at your place in about 2 to 3 days because I think it's all priority. So you guys look out for that. And we appreciate everybody who participated in that giveaway. I hope you guys enjoy your pint glasses, your t-shirts, your stickers, all that good stuff. And as always, we appreciate you being a part of the Hellbender crew. Joe, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. You guys take it easy. Wear your tinfoil. Don't let the aliens get you. And we hope that you guys stay safe out there. So good night, everybody. Have a great week. And